Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important, just a question asker. My name is Raheen out of Atlanta, but we got somebody that is very, very important here. This is my sister from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Zamari. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
How you doing this morning? I'm great. I woke up a little bit late. It was like
Uh-oh.
6:45 and I was like, crap, because I got to get my daughter up. She's got to be out of the house by 7:30 and so yeah, we were just a little late this morning.
It's okay. Look here. Look, watch this. It has happened to me before. It has happened to me before. Trust and believe me, it has happened to me before. Got a question for you this morning.
Wait. I got a question for you,
Uh-oh.
actually.
I- I'm the question asker.
Uh-huh, I know, but but
Okay.
but
Okay.
watch.
Okay. Let me
We
see.
forgot to address something on Monday. How many push-ups did you do over the weekend?
Zero. One thing you gonna find out about me. I'm not gonna lie. I did zero. I did. I because actually stuff started coming at me right and left, and I didn't get a chance to do it. I had to go and go shoot some stuff over the weekend. I had to go and Stanley told me I went out and supported the cause that he had on Saturday, and so man, it was like from the early morning to late in the evening. I was doing so many. I didn't do not even one.
Okay.
Not
I
not
at
even.
least you're honest. I
Yeah.
respect that.
Not even one. And I was like, wow, wow. But
So that's why you ignored it on Monday.
no, I no, I meant to say something. I meant to say something about it, but the conversation, got to go on and a couple of times I thought about going back to it, and I just didn't make it back to it. But yeah,
Okay. What's your question now?
um, they always say that it takes a village to raise a child.
Uh-huh.
Then that's a verbiage that we've been hearing ever since I was knee high to a grasshopper. It takes a village to raise a child. So who's sustaining and who's taking care of the village?
Well, the village takes care of the village. They sustain each other
How?
through fellowship.
Hmm.
I mean, that's what it is. It's your village is your family. If you have
Hmm.
a family, and if you don't have family by blood, you have family by those connections you've made. So your village is whatever you make it.
Some people don't feel as though they have a village. Some people feel as though they're in this whole existence by themselves. That's why the rate of homicide and suicide is up so high, because people
Yeah,
think they're out here by
yeah.
themselves, and then
Well,
they say the village does not exist any longer.
I th- I think for a lot of people that is true because I know when my husband and I were down south, it did feel like it was just us. When we lived in Oregon, it really
Mhm.
was just us.
Yeah.
We didn't have a village.
Hmm.
Now, obviously, we had friends. My I can't say I didn't have family there. My dad lived there in Oregon. His
Hmm.
or my stepmom, his wife, and then my half sister. So, they were there, right? But it wasn't like they were proactive in our lives per se,
Hmm.
regularly.
Yeah.
Um, my village is my husband's family.
Hmm.
I'm closer to them than anybody else.
Hmm.
Friends, as far as friends. And the other thing about that too is you have to trust who not only you're around but who you're allowing your children around so that they can
Yes.
help to raise those children because that's really the basis of what we're discussing, right? It takes a village to raise a family.
Exactly.
So for me, the only person that I would trust with my children to handle them the way that I would handle them would be Ryan's grandparents, my husband,
Hmm. Hmm.
because his mother, she and I love his mom. Don't get me wrong. I do love his mom, but the few times she's had my kids here or there over the years, I've had my my trust in her abilities is not great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. And see, that goes back to my point. Where is the village? Because if and I love the concept, I love the idea around it takes a village to raise. I love that idea, and it's powerful. But 2023, where is the village? You know, in order for the village to raise the child, there have to be a village. And I don't know if the village still exists.
I don't know. I mean, I think, like I said, I love my husband's family. I do absolutely love them, but even in that, right? Like I said, you still can't trust everybody. In a
Mm-hmm.
village like that, you're supposed to be able to trust everybody that handles your children, that's watching your children, so on and so on and so on. So I don't know, because it's just so jacked up. I think like back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, even, it was different, right? Because you knew who you were around, and
Let me
I think everyone was closer then too.
Was it really different, or was is because of the technology that we have today, where we know more things are going on because there's the internet, there's all the stuff that's going on, there's these cell phones that pick up and capture different things. Is it was it better, or was it just less reported back then?
It Okay, so that could have been the case too, right? Like, yeah,
Hmm.
that it could have been less reported. That's true. Because I there were still fractured families and all of
Yes,
those sorts of things that were going on then. So,
exactly.
yeah, it very well could have been that it was less reported.
Hmm. Wow. Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Right now, we're asking the question. Yes, it takes a village to raise the child, but in 2023, where is the village? Does the village itself still exist? How can we rely on the village to raise the child if we can't find the village?
Yeah, I don't
508,
know.
yeah, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Phone lines are open. Talk to me, sis.
All right, let me use this as an example too, because family is something else, let me tell you. Um, so
Yeah, yeah.
my my husband has 2 sisters, okay?
Mhm.
And one of his sisters, it's the one my husband is the oldest one, so the next in line, the next oldest, um, she got married. She has at the time, was she pregnant? No, she was not pregnant yet, so she still had the 3 girls. 2 girls? 1, 2. Yeah, 3. Sorry, I had to think about how many kids she had.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
so yeah, she had her couple of kids. She wasn't pregnant with her last one yet. And her and her husband had come up here. They visited, and we really liked her husband, right? And we were trying to connect with her because we've been really bad with keeping in touch with her and connecting, because she's been a single mom living that life, and we're
Mhm.
not very good at connecting. And my husband kind of has strained relationships with some of his family. And I've kind of been like, in a sense, that bastion, like, hey, I don't like fractured families, so you
Yeah.
need to talk to your sisters, kind of thing.
Mhm.
So after they came up here, it was asked to us, hey, would you send the girls down to us? Because they live in Texas. Would you send them down to us for the summer so the cousins can spend time together, yada, yada, yada? I was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I said, obviously I'm not going to send my younger ones. I think they're still too young. I said, but the 2 older ones can definitely come. That's great. Perfect.
Mhm.
So they go down there, everything's going great. And then I find out that a couple of different things had happened, and she spanked my child
Mhm. Okay.
for something that I dubbed to be really stupid, because I guess the girls were told to go and take a shower. It's Texas, it's hot in Texas, I get it. But the
Mhm.
girls were told to go and take a shower. They didn't take a shower, so they both get whooped. Because I guess they had said that they did or something, or just the fact
Okay.
that
Okay.
I can't really remember, because this was a couple of years ago now. But
Mm-hmm.
after that, like, I was mad. I
Yes.
was so mad about that, and
Mm-hmm.
I looked at my husband. I'm like, "That's your sister. You need to deal with that." I said, "'Cause if
Yeah.
I deal
Yeah.
with that, it's not gonna be pretty."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good.
And so he went and he dealt with the situation. Long story short, my daughter ended up coming back home
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because his sister basically said, "Well, if y'all don't like the way that we do it, then she can go back." I'm like, "Then send her back."
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So
Next
I
thing.
am Yeah, no, and I just don't like, okay, yeah, okay, she didn't take a shower. She may have lied about taking a shower, whatever, but you're gonna spank her for that? That's
Yeah.
something you spank for?
Mm-hmm.
That's something you're
Mm-hmm.
using a belt for? A
Yeah.
belt.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
not your place to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that is where, we're talking about this whole village thing. I would love nothing more than to have the confidence to send my children to any family member in my husband's family and know that I don't have to worry about those things, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
just don't have the trust that it
Yeah.
takes. And that is the bigger issue when we're talking about this whole village situation is I've been trying, right? But
Mm-hmm.
now after having these certain things happen over the years, it's like we still really don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
It just
Exactly.
it isn't there because we have this one particular way that we believe in raising our kids, and not everybody raises their kids that same way. So if you're going to be putting your hands on your kids, that's cool. You do you, but don't put your hands on
Mhm.
mine.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And see, that's one of the things in the village. There's so many different rules, and people govern themselves differently. And one person will say, "Well, it's okay. They did this or they did that," but and another person will say, "No, hold on. That's not enough. That's not even close to the point where you would take a weapon out, which is the belt, and beat my children with it. That's not enough." And so there's so many different levels in this whole village thing. Badger, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Badger, we're talking about the village. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a child. But we asking the question here in 2023, where is the village? Does the village still exist?
Yeah, it, we send our kids to school. We sometimes they get sent to what is it? Day school? No, but they send kids to yeah, it is day school. Um, or hire a babysitter or different things like that. There's a whole bunch of different scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole ideology of parents don't raise their kids by themselves.
Mm-hmm. So is that what you deem the village?
Yeah, you're choosing to stay where you're at. You're choosing to put them in that school. You're choosing who babysits them. You're choosing if you send them to day school.
Badger, do you
But
do you do you spank your children?
as an absolute last resort,
Okay. Now, if you send your children to somebody's house and for a reason that you certainly will not even consider spanking that child, they spank your child, would that be a problem?
now this is a person that knows me, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
somebody you send your children to. I mean, I hope they do. I mean, you send your children over there.
Okay. So that means they'd really have to know me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they ain't spanking them unless it's a last resort. Now you know exactly what would happen if they did.
Okay, but my question was a little bit different. I say if they did, would that be a problem?
I'm telling you that the likelihood would be no.
Badger, you're not dealing with the question, brother. If they
If they
did,
spank my children
yes.
following my rules, then
Mhm.
my kids deserve it.
Okay, your rules are not their rules in their house. They may have a different set of rules. Like if you're listening to Zamara this morning, she gave an example, a perfect example of how that happened.
I If people aren't going to respect the rules that we have for our kids, they're not going to stay at anybody's house.
Mm. Now, how are you going to know that?
Because I actually talk to the human being and make sure we are on common ground.
So are you saying that Zamara was wrong that she didn't have that
I
conversation?
didn't hear that whole conversation, and
She
it's
said,
not my business to say
"Hey,
if she's parenting right or not.
Badger, you going in different directions, brother. Just stay where we are. Deal with the situation I'm putting before you. Um, are you saying that she was wrong that she did not have that conversation before she sent her children to her sister-in-law? This is
I don't know. I
from
didn't.
what you just said.
When I hopped in, it
Mhm.
was the very last bit of her conversation. I'm telling you how I am and how I handle things.
Okay, but I'm giving you the scenario as to what she said. Okay, and I'm trying to go somewhere with this, but you kind of fighting against me a little bit, but I'm trying to go somewhere with this thing. Um, you know what? Let's do this. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson, good morning. So how you doing this morning?
Well, I'm like, you hear me?
No. What'd you say?
I say, well, I'm all right.
Oh, okay, okay. Tucson, let me ask you a question. We're talking about the village. We're talking about the village. Now, we're saying that it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a child. Where is the village? Does the village still in 2023? Does the village still exist?
No.
Why not?
Now, because people, you can't even talk to other folks' children. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can if they are raising their kid a certain way to give respect to a person that is older, or even to a person that's just people, just respect.
Mm-hmm.
I think respect has gone out the window.
Wow.
Our kids, these kids here, tell me when I'm lying. I'm finna say something.
Say it.
They think that you need to respect them.
Mm. Do you?
Well, you should,
Mm-hmm.
if they are respectable to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Respect is earned, I think.
Yes, it is.
You give it, you get it.
Mm-hmm.
But they walk up to you, what's up, dude? OG, what's up, OG?
Mm-hmm.
What you say? Man. And you be walking in and they just walk right. If they going somewhere, they just walk right into you. They don't care if you're 90.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
say something to you need to give me some respect. You 5.
Mm-hmm.
You what? Don't tell them. Don't give them no instructions. You looking for a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then here come the village you talking about. What you told my child.
Mm.
Now the village is in a uproar because now we got to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I do? I keep my children at home. I mean, and I don't send them nowhere. I don't care if it's Uncle Jim because Uncle Jim is a pervert.
Wow.
We got this society that, we're driven by our emotions and our lust for entertainment in so many different ways. And a lot of it is sexual.
Mm-hmm.
We lick our lips at a 13-year-old. What are you doing,
Exactly.
man?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Child, you sure growing up quick.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you finna get somebody finna bust your head to the white meat.
All the way.
This is the village that we living in.
Mm-hmm.
Our village is jacked up.
Yeah.
Then I thought about something. I'll shut up and turn it over. Says, and that's just me, okay? This is just me. When I live by it, it says, blessed is a man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor sit in the sins of the scornful, all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
What advice do I get? Do I need to get from somebody that don't believe what I? Not necessarily. They think worldly, and I'm trying to get directions from God, our Creator, or some sort of wise counseling that is righteous in some kind of way. And you talking about how the world operates. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
That village is dead.
Yeah.
I'm
And
just saying.
I asked Amari a question earlier, and she said that she was saying that the village was better back in the day. And I asked the question, I say, was it really better? Or because of with modern technology today, with their cell phones, internet, and all that stuff, they have more access to report. So was the village better back then, or was it just less reported? The stuff and the things that was happening.
So the village back then, when you did something across town, how did it get home? You ever figure that out?
No, but it'll beat you home.
What you did beat you home.
Yeah.
And my daddy was bad about it. He would say, such and such said you did what? No, sir. Oh, she lying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you wouldn't dare put it out of your mouth that an older person,
Was
I don't
lying.
care who it was,
Yeah.
was lying.
Mm-hmm.
But now, with all our modern technology, we send an email and the email's lying.
And
Or
have
the text,
and have a video
and it's
attached
all
to it.
misunderstood.
And have a
Yeah,
video
we
attached to it.
videotape it. Got proof. I know my child didn't do that.
Watch this.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Zamar, what's on your heart, sis?
Sorry, still trying to finish up my makeup. I'm almost done, I promise.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, my husband and I, one of our dreams is to buy this huge piece of land,
Mm-hmm.
build on it, have our house, have our closest friends' houses around us, have a gathering area on this property, and that is where we come together and share our meals. Nobody goes home eating separate, right? We all come together at the end of the day and we do that. That is our village. That is what we want to create, because again, those are my husband's friends. Those are the ones that he grew up with. Those are the ones who he went through some things with and who he knows he can rely on. If you want to create a village anymore, that's exactly what it would take to create that, because our families, our people are so spread out all over the place, and they're all running the rat race in different types of ways, and there is no togetherness anymore. So I don't, going back to what you asked originally, does the village even exist? I think we're just so caught up in this world of technology and money and all of that. It's just really hard to create that anymore. So now our village is who lives in our house.
Wow. That's good. Is that a sad reality?
I think so, because people are very hungry for connection with people that don't live within our home.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to create that here in our neighborhood when we first moved in, the first year that we lived here. We invited our neighbors, come over, let's have a barbecue, let's get to know each other, let's share some food. And it was beautiful. But then after that, nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody went back to their little quiet lives and shut up in their homes.
Wow. And we live in a real small community over here, and 13. There's only actually 13 houses in our community.
Oh wow!
And yeah. We now the communities around us are large. It's like hundreds of houses in there. But I like our little small community, and we look out for each other. Like it's to the point where it's like if we go out of town, my wife and I, we like to travel a lot. And when we do, we'll talk to one another. Look, we're gonna be out of town, blah blah blah. Look out for the house, pick up the mail and stuff like that for us. If a package come, would you pick it up and we'll get it when we come back? That's how we do. But as far as coming together, and my wife has been wanting to do this for a long time, have cookouts and stuff like that in the cul-de-sac. So we live on the cul-de-sac, and she's been wanting to do that and invite the neighbors over. Everybody bring a dish and we just sit around, play games, and all kind of things as a community. But it never happened. And sometimes I wonder why. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
I mean, I heard Donald say a moment ago about keeping his kids at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people get onto us about homeschooling ours. From my understanding, and even science has backed this up, his children are very impressionable. And I've heard, I hear so many stories about kids being in school or kids going to some someone's house, neighbor's house, or all these different things. And matter of fact, my niece got in trouble with some friends, and now she's going to be sent out for having one of those vapor things and it had THC in it.
Good Lord.
Oh, my sister's mad.
Mm-hmm.
So, see, my sister's as protective as I am of my family and of her and of she's protective of her niece. There's 3 people that she'd let my niece stay at their house. 3,
Mm-hmm.
not
Wow.
just anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It does. I could recommend somebody, and she'd say, "No, I don't know them."
Mm-hmm.
So things are very different, even from when I've grown up. There was a lot more trust. There, well, I guess to a degree, because it's hard to say. There seemed to be a lot more trust, at least from a kid's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, why would the parents tell each other what the kids are doing? And it always seemed like they were kind of vibing on the same set of rules for the most part. You do something that deserved a spanking, you got a spanking.
Mm.
But nowadays, people are so sensitive that shoot, I wouldn't surprise me that a parent would shoot somebody else just for saying their kid was acting like a brat or spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
I've,
Mm-hmm.
I've, so it's just one of those unfortunate things of people are really sensitive. And then there's the whole topic of, are you over loving your kids?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole nother topic and direction. So this whole village thing is coming to the realization that we allow it to happen. Unless you literally, it is just you and your kids and maybe hopefully a spouse, and y'all literally have no TV, no computers, no cell phones, can live completely off the grid, and nobody ever comes and visits.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, just maybe, you can live without a village. But for the most part, if you've got TV, cell phones, you're sending them to school, you're taking them to therapy, and da 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 da, you're not the only one teaching them rules of life.
Is that a village? Is that a village you're speaking of right now, or a warped society that we live in?
It's a village because you decide where you're raising them. A village is where you're raised.
Mm. I see a tad bit different, brother. When I see a village, I say it's a
What's the definition
listen,
of a village?
Badger, can I tell you, brother? I'm
Mm.
about to tell you. My thing is when I say a village, I mean a group of like-minded people moving in the same direction, trying to obtain a common goal together as they walk together, as they walk on the same path, on the same journey together. That when I say village, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about this group over here got a pedophile, this group over here got a rapist, this group over here got the stealing people that steal and stuff like that. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about people that like-minded people that come together and they discuss what it is they're trying to do, the goal that they're trying to obtain, and they all walking in the same direction with the same likelihood of getting there together as a unit, working together. That's what when I say a village, that's what I'm talking about.
That, if you're talking about a utopian type thing, that'll never happen.
Never is such a strong word.
No, it ain't a strong word.
Growing up, I heard my grandparents, and you know how I love my grandmother and all them, especially my grandmother. I heard them say that there would never be a black president. I heard the NFL say that there would never be a black quarterback in the NFL because of this reason or that reason. Now we have a Super Bowl in 2023 where there's two black quarterbacks playing against each other on opposing teams. Never is such a strong word. I never like the word never, because never have an end point. Because if you say
Well, I
never,
guess
if you say never, then there always gonna be some day and some point in some time where that never is gonna come to an end. I'm sure you probably grew up where people say there'll never be. You heard people say there'll never be a black president of the United States of America. You probably heard that growing up. I know I heard it all the time.
I don't view those things as the same as a utopian society.
No, we're not talking about that, Badger. We're talking about when you said never.
Yeah, and that's the only thing I said never on, because it would take an act of God and to God to make sure the thought of sin would never exist.
Badger, you're missing what I'm saying to you, brother. I'm simply talking about when you said never. I'm not talking about the utopia part. I'm talking
We're
about when
going
you
to
said
agree to
never.
disagree on this.
Oh, okay, that's cool. But my thing is, you fighting a fight that's not the fight I'm fighting, brother. I'm just saying I'm dealing with the word never. You dealing with the whole different everything. Let me go to Toya with a T. Toya with a T. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, ATL.
Lord Jesus. And the world, right?
And the Morning Glow family.
There you go. There you
and
go.
the whole universe. Because nothing is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Nothing. You know what white people used to say never about what black people wouldn't do? Black's never going to be free. Black's never going to be a doctor. Black's never going to be this. Black's never. I mean, trust me, being a black person in society, we face a bunch of nevers, and it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not true. So you can't say never, because as soon as you say never, God show up and show out.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't never gonna get off drugs. You ain't never gonna get married. You ain't never gonna have no kids. You ain't never. Stop. That shouldn't even be in our vocabulary. We can't. That's why we can't get to utopia.
Mm-hmm.
Because people always talk about never,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really not that complicated. It's really not that complicated. But get me back on track, Ryan.
We're talking about the village. We're talking about the village, and they say it takes a village to raise a child. And I believe that. And I love that idea and the whole concept. But my thing is this right here. Where is the village? And does the village in 2023, does the village still exist?
Yeah, the village exists. We just retarded as hell. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Lord Jesus.
Yeah. We villaging backwards out here in these streets. It ain't a village no more. It's the hood now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody want to be thugs. Walking around look crazy, tattooed up, looking weird. Yes, a village. Most of our villages now are like gangs. You know how some of these villages and real rural places across America, they got real deal cartel like gangs in some of these villages. Gangs, and what's the word for them? Help me call them. Look at Africa. Real deal people who they come from villages and they are savages. Do what you want to do. Bad to stop. Stop. Talk about race. We got to talk about race. You can't tell black people not to talk about race. Sorry. Because we're still getting beaten and murdered just for being black. So we can't not talk about race. But anyway, when it comes to being a village, we are in the village like days. We just got the wrong teachings now. You still got the village like karma because we are still influencing people to do wrong. You know what I'm saying? We're still influencing people to not do the right thing. So is there still a village? Yeah, but the village has lost sight on what the goals are, what direction we're headed in. We don't have that village of an upstanding moral mindset anymore. Everybody's out for selves, and that's what we teaching in the village. Be out for yourself. Don't be getting caught up doing this, that, and the third. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, there's still a village. We just out of order.
Mm.
The villages that we're creating and that we're living in. But yeah, the village is still here.
Good day. Zamara, what's on your heart, sis?
I can't. I want the village, right? But at the same time, there's such a lack of respect
Yes.
within whatever you consider your village. Okay, like when we were going to church, for instance, this is another situation. My sweet little, I don't even know how old she was at the time, daughter, okay? She's now 12. She was little. And you know, in school, they always do like the Valentines. They pass around the cards to all of the other students in the class, right? We went to church and she got really close with this one little boy and they were just friends. There wasn't anything funny going on there. They were kids, just little kids. She made him a Valentine's card, took it to church with us that night, gave it to him.
Yes.
His mother pulled my daughter off to the side, grabbed her by the arm, and from the way my daughter described it, was like in her face and telling her that this is wrong. He can't have a girlfriend and da 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 da, and I don't like what you're doing. And my daughter, being raised the way that she was raised and being respectful, sat there and took it. And did not walk away because this, one, like I said, she was raised to listen and respect. And two, she felt intimidated by that. And I found out after we got home from church that night, and I was in a rage. I was so freaking mad. So next time we went to church, and because I've got that attitude, and I start beeline it in her direction. And my husband, he kind of does that number where you know how your wife starts going in one way to say something, and you just kind of grab her and you keep her on track like you would a kid, right? And he's like, nope. And I'm like, no, this isn't right. No. And he's like, just leave it alone. I'm like, but she did this to my kid, and what right does she have? Like, if she had an issue, right, she should have come and discussed that with me, not pulling my child off to the side. And because she thinks she's holier than thou, really is what it was. And that my baby girl, my little girl, had some kind of wrong intention about it, when it was just she wanted to give her friend a happy Valentine's card.
It's just innocent. And it was innocent. It was innocent.
Yeah. And it's just like, but that was supposed to be our village at that time, right? But like Toya said, we're so out of order with how we do okay, I'm sorry. Actually, it is down.
Okay, it's bad. I don't know what it was. Maybe I was just getting a feedback. I'm not getting it now, though. I'm not getting it.
Yeah, it's all the way down. It's not even up. But it's just those sorts of situations. Because, like, for me, I'm really respectful of other people and how they raise their family and whatever. So if I have an issue with anything, I always go to the parent and I say, hey, this is what's going on. I'm kind of uncomfortable with this. However, I need to address that. I address that, right?
Yes.
But a lot of people don't know how to be adults and do that and come to some better resolution to do that so that they can be that village. Because in order to be the village, you have to first have the respect for each other.
Exactly.
And we don't have it anymore.
So you don't think the village still exists?
I want it to, but I don't think it does, because we're so caught up in our own way of doing things. And and now I believe we could come to that middle ground. I believe we absolutely could if people wanted to come together and put their pride aside.
Yes.
But nobody wants to put their pride aside anymore because they want to be right. The way they're raising their kids is the only way to raise those kids. Nobody wants to just put everything to the side and be like, look, okay, you know what? Let's do this thing together, but let's set some ground rules first.
Absolutely. And that's why I was saying everybody coming together, sitting down, having a conversation and moving in the same direction with the same with a common goal. Let's get here. And I say this all the time with teenagers. They have all the fire in the world. They'll fight. They'll fight a 18-wheeler. They'll fight an 18-wheeler for you. But my thing is, you have to set a target for them, because if not, they'll just shoot in all kind of different directions. You have to give them an objective. Okay, let's do this. Okay, y'all got all this energy, so many different things y'all want to do, but let's concentrate on this target first. Let's knock this target out. Once we obtain that, we'll go over here and deal with that talk. And so that's what I think has to happen in the village. We have to have a common objective. Let's get here first. Let's get to this point. And once we get to that point, we can start talking about the other things that we need to do, because we've knocked that part of it out. Okay, now what's next? What's our next objective? What do we need to do? We have a call from the 985 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from? (985) area code. You there?
Good morning.
Good morning.
803-9825. Good
Yeah.
morning.
Okay, good. Don't get your whole number, brother.
I get it. I ain't tripping. My name is Elgin. But this is what I want to see.
Yes, sir.
When you talk about a village, it might exist, but if something is stagnant, it's really non-existent because of ineffective. And the thing is this: I'm 48 years old today, and what happens when we talk about the villages, that we forget about the different errors or the different principles that people may have lived them as a kid as they progress. When I was 48, somebody had probably slapped the teeth out your mouth for disrespecting the elder.
Yeah.
If you got a spanking on one part of the block, you go up the street, if somebody else saw you, got a spanking in, when you got a you got another one.
Yeah.
So for people my age, I'm pretty sure it's crazy because, okay, we were kids then and everybody enforced the rules, the whole neighborhood. Now you have teenagers telling me, "What's up, dog? What's happening, bro?" Like, we're at the same level. It's ridiculous because I refuse to be a kid twice.
Wow. That's
and
good.
that's the perspective. And you have a lot of people, they express concerns about what's happening with the kids, but no one is going to put themselves on the forefront and put them or their families at risk. And if you're just being frank and being honest, a lot of the guys I remember from my neighborhood, maybe they had beers on Friday and they were basketball coaches or football coaches. They didn't mind stepping up and actually talking to the kids, you know? And even if they had to try to change your attitude in a positive way, you can't make change with nobody being accountable for anybody. So the real deal is, and this is another thing that I don't appreciate a lot of times, all the adults putting things on kids, the kids are terrible, and you're talking about your politicians, the churches, this, whatever. You're talking about these kids, but you're afraid to even approach them. So sometimes it's not the kids, it's the cowardice adults. And I repeat that, the cowardice adults. That's afraid to even kids anything. That's all I mean.
Exactly. Now, brother, give me your name one more time. I'm sorry, brother.
My name's Elgin.
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 Okay, good deal. I'm gonna call. Can I call you L?
That's good. Call me L. That's cool.
Okay, cool. Okay, good deal. Okay, good. My man. Appreciate it. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
When I went to the little community that I was assigned to, I first went to the they call it an impact group. What they do is they are concerned about the things that go on in the community. So I joined in with them, and then I got with the local leadership of the community, and I said, let's approach this thing together. Some joined in and some didn't. So what I'm saying is, you have to develop your community or your village rather, because if you don't, say if I'm raising my kids a certain way, in the way that I want them to be contributors in the community and this society. There's a certain teaching, there's a certain upbringing. I want them to be able to know how to hold a fork and a spoon, sit at the table and respect. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. It's not a downfall to say yes, sir. No, ma'am. Thank you. Appreciate you. Kindness. But then, if somebody in the community, not the village that I'm trying to develop, don't think like that, then I'm hindering the village. Does that make sense? The village that I'm trying to have my kid in. Does that make any sense?
It does.
Because just for instance, you live in I never could pronounce that, cul-de-sac. How you pronounce that? Whatever.
A cul-de-sac.
Got a circle of
Cul-de-sac.
Cul-de-sac. Whatever. Yeah, that's a circle of residents. Well, suppose you look within your circle of residents, and you notice that there are some kids and even the family or the parents look at their yard, look at how they conduct themselves with their kids. You're looking at them and their kid, and first thing you know, the kid do something, they drag them by the hand. I don't like to see somebody drag their kid by the hand and just pull them. They can't be in my village. They might be in the neighborhood, but I bet you one thing, that's the last house I'm gonna send my kid to.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna have some problems. Because so I think that when we talk about a village, you kind of don't want to have the wrong influence in the village that you develop. When we were coming up in the city, and it didn't matter who it was. They said, "Aren't you that Tucson boy?" "Yes, ma'am." You better not say who you talking to. You better not. Because that was a reflection of the home upbringing that she was in. I don't know, that's a little offset, but what I'm saying is the village has changed so much that, and it's not that, and I agree, some of these kids, you kind of fearful, not necessarily fearful, but you better not say nothing to the kids because their parents crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
You know that kid got a gun. What I'm gonna tell him something for? They talking. You got teenagers and some 30 and 40, and they having a conversation in the middle of the road, and they know they're blocking traffic. What I'm gonna say something to them for? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna sit there and wait, because they think they're on the world. All you got to do is give them time. They're gonna be hemmed up, and you wonder why they have different type of scenarios, because people have a tendency to put everybody in the same category, which that's not true. So anyway, y'all go ahead with this conversation.
Yeah, it's something that's meant.
Oh, Raheem,
Yeah.
I thought about something. I wanted to be real sarcastic.
Yes, sir.
Nephew Tommy had a prank call, and the kid came home. The kid came home with 2 F's for the same test.
Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus.
One for the kid and one for the parent. I'm sorry.
Lord. Toy, you with a T, talk to me, sis. I ain't fooling with Tucson.
Yeah, no. Like I'm back on the same thing. You know what I'm saying? The village is just backwards. The village is just out of order. People make the village, right? And I just got a question about the sensitivity. With all the crayons in the box,
Mm-hmm.
They have different colors, and we being sensitive about being able to describe a white person from a black person, from an Asian person, from an Indian person. Don't nobody want to call that. So how do you describe how to pass me the red crayon? You just say, pass me the crayon, and let the person just keep picking the crayon because you don't want to say the color?
Mm.
Is that what we do? Or do we say, I need the red crayon, the brown crayon, the green crayon? I mean, why are we being so sensitive about who the hell I am?
Hey. Mm-hmm.
I am a black female in America. And black people go through things by the hands of white people that run America, and we call it racism. What the heck is the problem? I don't get it. What is wrong with me saying a white person? Because Zamari is not black. She's a white girl.
Mm-hmm.
You a black man. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to understand society right now and why it's so complicated for something that's in so-called black and white, but we still being sensitive, and we cannot be adults and say things for what they are. The village has been destroyed. The thought pattern of the village has been destroyed. America destroyed it. They destroyed Indian villages. Whoop, 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 whoop. Said Indian. Whoops. Said Indians got slaughtered by white people. Whoops. That's what groomers do when they don't want you to face the truth, when they don't want you to bring the truth to who they, that's what child molesters do. They don't want to hear that they're child molesters in their face. They don't want to hear that. That's what abusers do. They don't want to hear, yeah, I said I'm a white man, and I know the heinous past that we've been through, and you just can't. I mean, that aggravates the snots out of me for people to sit up there and say anything about, not to talk about race when it's real deal here in America and happens every day. And when it comes to the village, that is another reason why we can't be a village.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Badger?
Evil people are evil people. And that's the whole point I always should make. Shoot, when Leonard gets on here, he pretty much says the same thing I do.
Okay, but Badger, let's talk to Badger right now. What do you feel about what she just said? I mean, you said evil people gonna be evil people, but she said something pretty specific. Will you specifically
talk about racism?
Yes.
Yeah. Systematic racism pretty much runs this country.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about utopia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say never, because as long as things like that are allowed to corrupt the people's minds, utopia can never be attained.
As long as white people continue to be racist.
Let me when you say things like that.
Okay, hold on.
Badger. When you say things like that, what are that you're talking about?
What, systematic racism?
Okay. I just want to be clear. Go ahead.
No, it's a very messed up thought process that a human being thinks that they can own another human being.
Mm-hmm.
And then they want to make a system that literally takes advantage of it. And if anyone else asks about the system, they're going to try to put the blame on that specific race.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the part that's been getting to me is the more I have talked to intelligent people, black people, the more I'm learning that there is different shades of thought patterns and thought processes. I didn't know a black person could be racist until I was told that they could be.
Mm.
I didn't know a Native American could be racist until I experienced it. So racism isn't just a one color.
What?
And I learned that from somebody I trust a whole lot, and his name's Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes on here quite often. So if you have a problem with me saying what I learned, unless I can...
It's wrong.
See, Badger, my thing is this right here, and no disrespect to you, you my brother, I love you dearly, man. But my thing is this right here. You quote other people, but I'm not asking you for other people's opinion. I'm asking you what Badger think. I don't know. I don't want you to tell me what this person told me or that person.
I think racism is something
Badger, are you really going to
want me to answer?
I don't want you to interrupt me. I want you to let me finish my thought. How you even know what I'm gonna say?
Mhm.
My thing is this right here. I ask you for your opinion. I ask you what's on your. I don't ask you what's on Badger or what's on Leonard's heart or this person's heart or that person's heart. I'm specifically coming to you, and you say, well, this person told me that. That's not what I'm asking you, brother. When I ask you what's on your heart, it ain't got nothing to do with nobody else's heart. I'm asking you what's on your heart. But you refer me back to what somebody else says.
What's on my heart
Yes.
is that people are so wrapped up in this victimization that the people in power want us to have, like being a poor white guy, being a black person, being a Native American, being a drunk, and so on and so on. That big, huge list that people fight over every single solitary day of who's worse. Your trauma's worse, my trauma's worse than yours, my struggle's worse than yours, and it's just this constant bickering back and forth. When the source of most of it is our individual capability of introspection and working on self and the evil people that are in charge.
But the one common denominator that you said is trauma. And you said this trauma, that trauma, but the one common denominator that you said is trauma, and they all have trauma. So are we to ignore the trauma that they have, the individual trauma that they have? We can't. Zamari, what's on your
No, I agree.
I don't even know what happened to our beautiful conversation. Like, I'm so confused right now. I'm like, what just happened? Oh my gosh. Like, why? Why did that even? Okay. I don't know. I don't know, right? I'm so lost.
You get Willa over here so she can lead us in prayer.
Exactly.
Look, okay, Lord, just bring us all together and squash the stupid stuff, please, so we can get back on track and have a beautiful conversation and a beautiful day. And we appreciate all that you do for us. Amen. Like,
Amen.
Seriously though, like, what just happened?
Wow.
But let
me ask you this question, Zamari. And I know you're sitting back scratching your head. What do you think happened? What if you had to tie it in one and put one nice little pretty bow? What just happened?
We just had a wonderful and beautiful conversation about the village. Completely destroyed, and our village just got ransacked.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Our village right here.
Yep.
That's what I think just happened. We're just sitting here peacefully having our conversation, and our village just got run over by a train or something. That's how it felt to me.
Wow.
But back to what Toya had said about the cram box. Toya, my baby, I got a question for you. If I were talking about you to somebody, and I were to say, my girl, my friend, my sister, or would I say, my beautiful black sister? Which one of those terms am I supposed to use? Because you are a beautiful black woman, and I recognize that. But there are a lot of people in this world, white people, who are very uncomfortable with saying that word.
That's right.
You know, and they're uncomfortable with saying that word because we as white individuals have been conditioned to think that saying that word black is bad. We can't say that. So we're very uncomfortable with saying that word. And it's something that I had to learn over time that it's not bad. It's okay to say that. It's about how you're saying it.
Yes.
Right? You know, it's about how you're saying it and how you mean it. But if I'm going to another black person and I make it my point to say, my beautiful black sister, to me, that's almost like, or you know, to a lot of white folks, it's almost like, oh, hey, look, I got this little black trophy friend over here. You know, that's how some people would take that, right? But when I'm describing people, and I don't care what color they are, where they're from, ethnicity, it doesn't matter to me. But when I'm describing someone, like when I'm talking about Toya, I don't use her color. I don't use the fact that she's black. That's
Mhm.
not the first thing that comes to my mind. What comes to my mind is, and the same with you, all of you on here, Raheen, all of you, when I
Yes.
talk about you guys, I
Mhm.
say, I met this amazing group of people. And we
Mhm.
talk about these things. And then, of course, like, your names come up and then they kind of correlate. Oh, okay. You know,
Mhm.
so,
Mhm.
but then it's like, then I'm like, yes, they're Black. It's
Yeah.
fine,
Yeah.
but
Exactly.
it's
Mhm.
not something that it's not that I'm uncomfortable with that descriptive word, but
Mhm.
I do not, that's not who you are as a
Exactly.
person.
Mhm.
You are a beautiful individual person. So if I'm going to describe you as a person, I'm colorblind.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
doesn't matter to me.
Mhm.
But I love
Mhm.
talking about Toya. I love talking about you, Raheen. I love telling people about Cassandra and Navy and everybody that I've met on here. I love talking about Rico because I do. I talk about Rico too and just how
Not
amazing some of the
not
stuff he
Rico
comes out
now.
with.
Not Rico now.
Yes. And Tucson, like I talk about all of you guys, and sometimes like my husband at first he was like, "Really, babe?" And not it just I think it surprised him more than anything because it's not something that he would typically expect me to find,
Mhm.
right? But it's like, but it's who I like.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I love what these people are talking about. But again, I feel like this is kind of like you guys are becoming my village more and more and more.
Mhm. Mhm.
You are becoming a part of my village, a part of my everyday life. And I love
Mhm.
that you are. And I
Likewise.
want
Sis.
Toya to come
Likewise.
up and visit. I want Toya to come up and visit. My kids are going to end up calling her Aunt Titi.
Aunt
This is
TT, that
what it
sound
is,
old.
right?
That sound old. That sound old. Aunt TT.
That's all right. Yeah, that's right. And when they see me, they're gonna be like, "Oh, wait a minute, you don't look like Aunt TT." And they expect that.
It might throw it for a loop for a minute because I know, because she has that boisterous attitude and she's, very eccentric and everything. So they're gonna be sitting back like, really, mom?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. I see Rico done stepped away for a second. I was gonna get him in here. I tried to make a joke on him a minute ago. That joker didn't even laugh.
I
That
don't
joker
think he
didn't.
may not have even heard it, but no,
He-
I do feel like our village kind of did get railroaded there, and
yeah.
so let's just
Sidetracked.
get back on track with that, because that was a
Absolutely.
beautiful conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. Just happy to see another beautiful new day, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now walking this morning?
No, it's raining, man.
Oh, okay, got you. Rico, we're talking about the village. We're talking about the village, and it takes the village to raise a child. That's something that we've heard growing up, man, forever. But in 2023, I'm going to say 2022, 2023, does that village still exist, man? Or is it just a fragment of our imagination now?
It's the minority.
Mm-hmm.
It happens, but it's like a unicorn now.
Mm-hmm.
If you see it, it's like surprising, and actually to like people born nowadays, it's an oddity. The things that we used to actually see on a regular basis, and that was normal coming up, is rare to them. It may be rare to see somebody with a garden on the side of the home.
Yeah.
In the backyard, a big patch of the backyard is a garden.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody might see that and be like, "Oh, he country." Have you ever seen people laugh at the Mexicans for having chickens running around in the yard?
Yeah.
I'm like, what y'all laughing at?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that man, got all them chickens running around. I'm like, yeah, man, that's smart.
Yep.
They ain't got to go to the store to buy chicken. You know what I'm saying? They raising them.
Yep.
So it's like, you don't see that type of mindset, that happened in the past that was normal with the village. You grow certain things and then you have a neighbor grow certain things and y'all trade.
Yep, exactly. That barter system. Yes, sir.
That was something common for me to have my grandmother to send me with a little, those little wood like baskets.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have to take a bunch of them full of peas or corn or something across the street to the neighbor's house or something like that. And then they might send me back with a bag full of rice or something, or peas. It would be different. It was always some type of trade or bartering going on. We grew something that they didn't grow. And the neighbors, from what I understood, I mean, that was a young life. I'd only seen, you know, maybe 4 or 5 years of certain neighbors, you know what I'm saying, before they passed on. But from the way it looked, like people were probably neighbors for a longer length of time. You know, now you got this rent system going on, this industrialized system where people move constantly to the point of where you don't even live next to your neighbors long enough to get to know them or to trust them.
Yeah.
Where in the past, you probably had the same neighbors for the last 10 or 15 years. You know, so now there's no problem with the parents next door chastising disciplining the children, the next door neighbor's children, because they know them, they get along, they actually communicate and operate with one another. I mean, at certain times when I was younger, there were certain neighbors that lived along the lines with my grandmothers that I thought we were related. That's how close our families were.
Yeah.
I would think that these other people were my cousins. They were no relation at all. The people that my grandmother worked with, I thought they were like best of friends, or, you know, almost related. Come to find out they weren't related, but they just had that type of camaraderie. And I think that happened during that time because it was needed. Those were some dangerous times for us.
Exactly.
Anyway, you know. So it's a rare thing to see now. It's like, you know, I think if a lot of people saw unity and peace and people getting along, that's something odd to them, because they used to seeing people acting out and being lit and acting a fool, you know.
Chaos, exactly. They used to seeing that chaos. Captain Leonard, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem.
Hey, doing good, doing good. We're talking about the village. We're talking about the village, and we've all heard it being said that it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a child. But Leonard, in 2023, does
I
that
don't know.
village,
Is your head itchy again? Is that why you're mentioning
does
it?
that village still exist?
Okay.
Okay. I muted you there, Zamar. You had something going on, Destus. You had something going on. I had to mute you for a second. That's your first mute. That's your first mute. But Leonard, does the village still exist, or is in this day and time, is it just a fragment of our imagination?
No, it still exists.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to realize it may not be your village.
Mm-hmm.
But those people who continue those same traditional values, they still do. They haven't changed.
Mm-hmm. Are they a minority?
What I question is the fact that, one, it's up to elders to establish.
Mm-hmm.
So if they've lost it or what have you, they need to reestablish it wherever it's lacking.
Mm-hmm.
But I still have my village.
Okay.
I'm not sure when you say, because I think what has happened, like a lot of things, people get used to talking about stuff and not doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody talks about it takes a village, it takes a village. Define the village.
Mm-hmm.
Define it.
Is that a question?
Yes, everybody must answer the question.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you don't get to be in the village just because you're black.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think it has it. And truth of the matter, I don't think it has anything to do with color at all when you're talking about the village, because the community could consist of a whole lot of different people. When I say the village, and I described it earlier, it's a group of people coming together with the like, moving in it, would had a discussion, have that conversation, and they're moving in the same direction to obtain the same goal for everybody involved.
Right, but people use the term village.
Mm-hmm.
to try to connect it to our tribal history, our African history. But you have to understand that there's a lot of things involved there, not some little surface things that you choose, like some people have implied. Do white folks have villages?
They could.
Where's their village? Because a lot of times, when some people talk, you have to clarify. Because your village includes like-minded people or people that look like you.
What I said was like-minded people trying to obtain the same goal, moving in the same direction, trying to obtain the same goal.
So is that like community to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are you using community and village interchangeable?
No. I think a community is one thing, but I think a village is at a higher. I think the village is at a higher level, and more responsibility goes into it being a village.
Right. So instead of saying village, say family.
No.
Your family not right, so your village can't be right.
No. No. I can't go with that. And the reason why I can't go with that is because it don't have to. The village don't necessarily have to be your family.
Okay.
I mean, you
Like
treat them
them
as family. We're family here. We're family here, but we're not related by blood.
But what makes us family?
Because we all like-minded people. We come together, we have the discussion, and we all have the same objective to move in a positive direction. We have the same.
Are you sure everybody agrees with that?
We're not for real right now, y'all. Are we?
Mm-hmm.
We're not for real right now.
Because you have to understand, there are people that call their communities for certain reasons.
Mm-hmm.
LGBT community is a community because of a certain.
We're not talking about community though.
Reason.
We're talking about village though, brother. You keep saying
right.
We're not talking about community.
What's the difference?
Mm-hmm. I just said that. I told you what the difference is. But
what is the difference between village and community?
I told you that earlier. We already went over. We crossed that bridge, brother. There's a different, and I think the village has a higher level of responsibility for everybody involved.
Mm-mm.
So is that family?
That's another show, y'all.
Leonard,
that's another show. Breaking this thing.
What is that higher reason?
Leonard, you're going back and forth. You're going back and forth. We're talking about the village, brother. If we're gonna have this conversation, let's keep it on the village. Let's not add anything in, because when we add other things in, we're watering down the conversation that we're having in regards to the village.
I sort of get what he's saying. That a community can be a mental process. You know, you can be in along the same lines as somebody as a way that they think. You know what I'm saying? And you will be a part of that community. A certain community that believes in the sexual behavior or something like that. You're a part of that community. But a village, really truly, a village is physically like a group of houses smaller than a town. But you can still make that a community. I mean, I still don't get this, because it's a good possibility that the people in your village, they all do have the same type of mindset as far as building your community, building your society. You know, participating in government. I don't get where this is going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we intertwining too many different things in here. You know, we're talking about one particular thing, and now we're adding all the other elements in. And when you start adding all the elements in, you're watering down what you're talking about. And that's
you do have to have the accurate definition of it though, because sometimes people will start associating words together and don't even know why they're associating village and community. Because community can be a thought process. That can be, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you have a community of people that's white supremacists. You get what I'm saying? That's a community, but they might not live together. They just have the same thought process, and they go along the same lines of their belief system.
See, when I look at village, and this is at a totally different level of what we're talking about. But when I look at village, I look at something like a tribe. In that tribe, you know who your leaders are. You know, everybody have a certain responsibility, and they're taking care of their responsibility to make sure that the village sustains itself. You have a chief. I just say chief. You have a chief. You have this person there, and everybody know what you have planters. You have everybody know what their responsibility is, and if you all work together in conjunction, then the community would grow and build. Toya, you want to talk to me, sis? Toya?
I don't know. So, I don't know why that got so complicated just then. But when you came on asking the question as a village, we were simply, I thought, going off the metaphoric saying that it takes a village to raise a child.
Yes.
We don't live in no damn village. Hey. If that's the case. If you want to be so technical, we're just speaking about the saying, the roundabout, the where you at. It ties in with your community, your surroundings, your environment, whatever. We rebuke the devil right now in the name. Get him out of here. We know what you mean by village. We're going to stay back on track with where you're trying to go. The surroundings that we are creating as humans. And sometimes they do consist of and grow LGBTQ and white supremacists and all other kind of crazy, foolish people. The village has been torn apart by distractions like such. Because now we want to classify villages because we don't get along in the village. So now because you want to accept me and how I am, I got to go off and build my own village because we're starting to see things differently. We're starting to do things differently. We don't have the same beliefs and value systems anymore. So there's, even if you look at the proposed true example of a village, they're different because ain't nobody the same. And then when we go into individual families, that's your own little village. Because you just specifically, me and my peoples. And still, when it comes to the village, there's still normally a king dwelling close around.
Yep.
A ruler, a totalitarian ruler.
Yep.
So let's stop playing mind fiddle games because we want to be sensitive about who we are or who you are or who we are and the mistakes we create. And let's get back on track, because if we keep playing with these little games, acting like we don't know what the hell going on, we ain't going to never to a solution. So now we in the village watch the village get destroyed by other villagers from other villages that don't have the same understandings. And that's where we are in 2023. There's so many different types of classifications. We are not seeing eye to eye anymore. And the village is being broken down one by one because of different distractions, whether it be, again, we don't want the village mentality. We want a city mentality. We want a democratic mentality. Or a Republican mentality. You understand what I'm saying? So we go mow down these villages because we're rebuilding. We're building parking lots over villages. So there was an agenda in America to break up the village-like mentality. It don't matter what color you are. That's not what they want. They want a democratic Rand world where it's full of foolishness, where the rich get rich and the poor get poor. It's not about villages anymore, even really. So that's why that whole comment on, it takes a village to raise a child. No one can even identify with what you're talking about because we live in a concrete jungle.
Exactly. Tucson, talk to me, brother.
When I think about a village, I think about the frozen cup lady and the candy lady. Y'all remember that?
I remember her.
Anybody
Absolutely.
remember that?
Yes, sir.
Y'all remember that?
Them ices. Yes, sir.
Here's
Them
the
ices
thing
was good.
here's the thing about their house. No matter who the kid was, they was welcome. So it didn't matter. The concept of it takes a village to raise a child. It meant that it didn't make no difference who child it was. We're going to get together and we're going to help you with your child. And it's okay. They had some rough kids in our neighborhood.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah. But we all met at the frozen cup or the candy lady's house because she was one of the pillars of the village. That these big mamas per se was the ones that everybody knew that they were the mindset of the village. Because we got to get together and raise these children because we want our community, if we were going to go there, to be better. Our families to be better, because we're all the community and the family. We're the community family that develops the village. I don't know if that makes sense, but what I'm saying is you got to have a center point. Remember what Rico was saying? Go down there to Miss Sally's house and get me a cup of sugar. And Miss Sally wasn't raised same with you, because on your way back from Miss Sally's house or to Miss Sally's house, you was bringing flour for the sugar.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they done already had that conversation. Well, honey, I got a little sugar, but I need some flour. They had a garden
Yes, sir.
in the middle of the community, in the village, or whatever you want to call it. And anybody could go and go get you some peas. Because we're all trying to eat. I know some people don't eat hogs and stuff like that, but when we
No,
were
sir.
coming up,
No,
we
sir.
didn't know no better. We were too poor to worry about what was, right to eat. So we'll kill him in the middle of the driveway, and everybody had a piece of meat.
Wow. The village.
Because we was trying to bring all of us together. It didn't matter whether your child was disrespectful. They didn't care. They didn't really care. Come here, little boy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes they pull them by the, come here, little boy, let me talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
And Big Mama or the candy lady would send them there. Get you a piece of candy. Sit down right there. Don't go away.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to do the village thing. And sure, your name was Samuel or Bocard or Thomas, but you sitting down here just for a plain old conversation, and you left there with a different mindset, even if it was just for 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
So if we're gonna redevelop the village type of thing, maybe perhaps you may have some that are, unfortunately, you don't like it, but we're talking about a village. Some may have two daddies. I'm sorry, don't get offended. Some people may be a wife and a wife in the village.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, every once in a while, you run and that boy slinging that dope.
Mm-hmm.
But come here, little boy, let me give you some wise counseling. Because if you go out like that, you're not going to live long.
Yeah.
And to back up yourself and slow your roll. Remember that saying? Slow your roll, little boy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you're gonna have to try to survive the game. And you know where that counseling came from? The preacher's house.
Mm.
Ain't that something?
Yes, sir.
You'd be surprised what happened at our house. Lord have mercy.
Mm-hmm.
And Daddy was the pastor. But they had them boys that come to the house, and their parents didn't go to nobody's church.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to raise the child, they would sit at the table with us. Get you something to eat, man. Get you something to eat, little boy. Sit down and watch TV, and then go out and then do whatever you do.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because all we're trying to do is develop something that's healthy.
Make a difference. Make a difference. Absolutely. Mr. Hicks, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning, Raheem. Good morning, Glow family.
We're talking about the village, sir. We're talking about the village. And it takes the verbiage. It takes a village. Yeah, it takes a village to raise a child. In 2023, does the village still exist?
Well, in the metaphor, I think we use it now. We use it. We're not using it in a historical sense. From hunter gatherers to villages to cities to metropolitans, but just in terms of the, I think you said it earlier, agreeing on certain things, the attitude.
Yes.
But I think it was used in one election by Clinton when she was running, and that was one of her themes of the village. And from the progressive left, the whole intent was defined as the school system, the social workers, the psychologists. It's saying, give us your kids too. You could trust us. We're part of this village. We're part of the police, they're part of the village, and we see that the village they're trying to invite us to is a village of our destruction. You know, it seems sometimes that we like that guy that had that's trying to got a dam that's breaking, and everybody is on the other side of the wall sticking their fingers in holes trying to stop the dam. But I see everything has moved away from cooperation and group into individuality, into individually defining yourself. And you have confusion in communications because we all have different meanings for our words. But that's not happening by accident. That's been part of the last 30 years. I've seen being observant and watching it, where all the language has changed. And James Orwell's 1984, he talked about doublespeak. He said part of the plan was to change and confuse the people about the meanings of things that cause confusion. It makes it difficult for them to come together just off the linguistic, just language. Just the language. What do you mean? You said this, and it's this here, but that's all by design. But the village, we are part of a spiritual. They call it the conscious movement, a conscious group of people that sort of waking up and looking and reevaluating things and trying to be critical in their thinking, to reevaluate things, not to change the world, just to find some peace to keep them going crazy. People
are losing it.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah,
but
people are losing
it's by design.
Wow. There's so many different things we could say on this village thing, man. We're gonna talk about this a few more minutes, then we're gonna move on to another topic. Let me go to Stanley. Stanley, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. Good to have you, brother. We are asking a question about the village. We're talking about the village. It takes a village to raise a child. We've heard that many times over. It takes a village to raise a child. Does the village still exist in 2023? Does the village still exist, Stanley?
Well, not in the way it did when we was growing up. Like I said, I'm a 60s baby, so back in the 60s, in order to make sure that everybody was raised properly and was productive members when we became adults, anybody in the community could correct any child. You know, if I did something up on Prater Street, if there was adults up on Prater Street that saw me doing something wrong, they could correct me, or even back then, he could even whoop me, as long as they didn't try to kill me. So they could whoop you, but most of the time when they did that, they were either going to walk you home. Now, this is my community. I can't speak for everybody else. They was either going to walk you home and tell your parents what you did and what they did, or they was going to send you home and they was going to call. But nowadays, people don't like constructive criticism or correction. You know, they don't want you telling them how to raise their kids. They don't want you putting your hands on their children. So the village doesn't exist like it did back in the 60s and 70s, because most folks right now are just trying to survive. You know, they're working 2 or 3 jobs or whatever they're doing. So, you know, they're working. They don't really have time to raise their kids, let alone try to help with somebody else. So that's what I've seen. Because I corrected a lady one day at the store to get some gas, and she had a baby. The baby about maybe a year old, and she was snatching the baby by the arm and all that. I said, "Ma'am," I told her, "come on now. She said, that's not child. You don't tell me what to do." If she did it again, I said, "Ma'am, you're right. That is your child, and I can't tell you how to raise your child and what to do." I said, "But if I see you snatch them like that, I'll call 911 and folks you abusing that child." Because it don't take all that to handle a 1-year-old child.
Yeah.
So then she kind of got straight. Talking about in this generation on how to raise their children. If they go back to like we was in the 60s, everything in the 60s wasn't perfect. But that was one of the things that I enjoyed, because you knew whatever you did that time, you wasn't gonna do it no more. You might do something else stupid, but you wasn't gonna keep making the same mistake. And everybody got along better. We spent more time together. On Sundays we gathered for a dinner at grandmama's house after church. Children's Day went down to the farm, and we had lemonade and hot dogs and tea cakes and all that. People don't do that no more. Most time they get together now, you're arguing and fussing and fighting. So
Exactly.
like it did.
Wow. And that's true. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, man. It's like, to me, it's like a lost art. A lot of things that we used to do in the past, a lot of traditions, they're lost arts now.
Yeah.
People don't even understand the necessity, the purpose, and the benefit behind it. You know, and I think really and truly that's what happened. You know, like Toya said earlier, we got so distracted by so many new trends. I think the Black community lost this way of the village once integration happened, and we started venturing outside the lines of our own villages. You know, our own communities, and started venturing into other communities and participating in the things that they had to offer. And since that point, we've been fleeing. We've been fleeing our own villages to try and be a part of other people's villages. But you know, I read something a second ago, you know, because it went in that direction. And I asked the question, well, I Googled it. And I asked, how does the village and the community relate? And it's, you know, what's the relationship between them? Are they the same? You know, and to a certain extent, it was saying that the village is a part of the community, because the community starts before the village. Even though the village is a small town, it's smaller than a city, it's smaller than a town, you know, but it still starts from a community. But even though the village does start from a community, everybody in the village is not a part of the community. So, you know, it really shows that they do relate. You do have to have one in order for the other to exist. But community is such more of a wide-ranging word, to the point where you just can't put it under the umbrella of village, but you definitely can put village under the cover of umbrella. You can put city, county, all of that can go under community. You can put LGBTQ under a community. You can put atheists, devil worshippers under a community. You can put religious right-wing extremists under a community. You know, but within that community, you may have certain villages. But that concept, the true concept of that saying, it doesn't exist anymore, because it comes with a lot of consideration for others. You really can't have a whole lot of individualistic or selfish motives in a village, or you won't survive in that village. You have to still be able to contribute in some form, even if it's just showing concern for the children. Once again, understanding the purpose of survival, understanding the relationship that you have with others in that village, how important it is. I don't think people really understand or value how important their neighbors are. You need your neighbors sometimes just to keep an eye on your house, so people won't be breaking in, and you might want to you hope your neighbors would keep somebody from breaking in your house or stealing your lawnmower out your yard. You know, that's what the village does. They look out for each other. And people don't look out for each other anymore. Instead, they rather try to find ways to say that we are in a village, that we are in a community, or that there's no we.
Exactly. Later.
You can go and pass through someone else.
Okay. Let me go to Toya with a T. Talk to me, sis. There goes Amari. Toya with a T. Talk to me, sis.
Yeah, we're back on village, right? Because Rico just did the definition on how they all kind of counteract with each other, right? Which is something that's really valid. However, we still should not allow the classification of who and what we are get past the solution. And if we have people from other communities or other governmental entities coming to destroy villages, then that's an issue. If we have corporations that's coming to destroy these villages, these communities, these, places where people have like-minded values and try to, accomplish a decent living, that's the problem. And that's where we need the solution at. And that's where we are in America in 2020. Our villages, our communities are not at its strongest because we have other governmental entities that are out to destroy that. I don't see nothing wrong with a group of like-minded people. And if we're going to use LGBTQ, for example, they want to go all together and huddle in a corner and get there and be treated fairly, I don't see anything wrong with that, long as you don't influence or enforce things and have agendas on mind. And that's where that's where we take the turn at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because when you have other communities, other forces, the satanic forces, right? You want to be able to go to school and get your rights and freedoms too. I get that. Again, don't come imposing your way of life on mine.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to dealing with the government, I guess we don't consider, governmental entities as villages and corporations as villages. But we need to think about those entities, because while we're stuck here bickering on the difference, they're destroying our villages by influencing capitalism, eating up all the mom and pop shops. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Coming around to when they build certain buildings and certain technologies, you're literally killing the people that you plop that big old telephone antenna in the middle of, even though you paid that county or city whatever amount, $1 million. Do you know the radiation and what you are doing physically to the people that live right around that little radioactive telephone pole? You're killing them.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly. Most people around those areas of those telephone poles that we love our cell phones, within 10 years they'll be dead. All different kind of cancers.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? And we don't think about that because we still over here bickering about what's the village, what's the community. You understand what I'm saying? And this big fish out here frying us up like we little goldfish. We getting swallowed up out here, and we're not focusing on it. You know what I'm saying? We're not focusing on our government, not making sure that our police and not murder us, not come up with solutions on how to keep our kids safe, not come up with solutions on how to make sure we operate our cities to a capacity to where we're not creating another school to prison pipeline. Like, we got real stuff out here to talk about, but we get sidetracked on trying to say, the difference on a village or community. That, I think that's where we dropped the ball at.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Zamari?
No, I think she's right. If like-minded people want to get together and create that village, more power to them. Because it's like I said, right? That's like what me and my husband want to do with buying land and having our friends, our close friends, coming out and sharing that land with us, building houses, growing crops with us, living a sustainable life as much as we can, apart from whatever this crazy world is creating. And if any one of you wanted to come and partake in that and be a part of that with us, we would be more than happy to have you.
Yes.
Because we want that, right? It doesn't matter what your village looks like or who's in your village. What matters is that you care about each other and you guys have the same goal in mind.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. And I really wish we could get back to that village mentality. I really wish that we could, because I don't know which one of you said it, but you were talking, I think all of you said it in some way or another, talking about how they've destroyed the village mentality. And corporations have taken over that village mentality, because at one point our communities were very close knit.
Yeah.
And like, so I may have been Mr. Hicks that said it, back in the 60s, he's a 60s baby. And news got home to his mama. He couldn't beat that news home.
Yeah, exactly.
It got there before he did. And so mama was already standing at the door and knew you done something.
Exactly.
But it doesn't work like that now, right? You don't have the clerk from the corner store calling your mama and saying, hey, he did this over here. I just saw him do it. It doesn't happen. And I wish it did, because our world would be so much better for it in the end. But they really have destroyed just that whole togetherness. And it's a terrible thing to see, right? Because look, we're proving it wrong right here. We're together. We're talking about these things.
Exactly.
And no one is hating on anybody for it. So that's why I said, like, this is part of that village right here. I wish we all lived closer. Really, I really do. That'd be great. But
we gotta figure out a way at least once a year to all come together and be in the same place, have dinner or something like that, or have a little ball or whatever we're gonna do at least once a year. We got to figure out a way to make that happen. Navy, I'm not even gonna call. Good morning, Navy. How you doing this morning? I'm gonna say your whole name. I ain't gonna do it today. I'm gonna be nice.
No
Good.
government name today.
No, no, not today. How you doing, sister? Good morning.
Look, good morning. I'm good. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing well, doing well. We're talking about the village. We're talking about the village, and it takes a village to raise a child. Does that village still exist? Does that village still exist in this day and time? What do you say to that?
I mean, the village definitely saved and helped me. I would not, literally would not be here if it wasn't for my village. Does it still exist to some degree in today's world? But I can't say that the village is exactly the same whenever I was coming up. Because, just as we were talking about yesterday, Big Mama and them, and yes and them, because I'm country. But we don't have the same elements of the village. Perfect example would be most of my homegirls that are here, they're not originally from Mississippi. But their babies call me Auntie Navy. We have no blood relation, but that's our village.
Yeah.
We support, we help one another. When them babies need to be picked up and mama and daddy and them can't do it, TT Navy pops in. So, I mean, does the village exist in today's society? I think so. But again, that's up to each individual and their village, because you also have to be aware that people that may have started in the village may not end in the village.
That's good. That's good. Wow. Mr. Hicks, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Mr. Hicks, you there? Yeah, Mr. Hicks might have stepped away for a second. Anybody have?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Wow. I guess I want to listen a little more. I'll listen a little bit more.
Okay. Actually, we're about to change the topic. Anybody have anything else they want to say on this particular topic before we move on to the next one? Okay. Rico.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. It just seems to me and I hope I'm not offending anybody, my intent, but it seemed to me with all the things that are happening right now in our world, politically, economically, and all these sits, that I find it hard to focus on these kind of conversations personally. It's all right. I like listening to other thoughts, but I remember when they raided Trump's thing and that whole thing, all the different things that happened, how there were topics for our discussion at that time, because it beat it up on one side. It just seemed that there's so many elephants in the room. This thing killing these black gangsters, cop gangsters, killing this man down there. And I mean, we ain't talked about it, man. They killed Chloe. I mean, you know what I mean. But yeah. Okay, I'm moving on. But just seeing. So when I get up and I do a little revamp of the news that's happening today, I get up early, about 4, do my meditations and go to the news, and I see all the things that's happened. And sometimes it seems like the elephant is so big in the room. How could we not address this here lightly, even to ignore these things, ignore the facts that's coming about all of the confusion of the last 5 years, and seeing the truth come out now about the COVID, about the shots, about the damage, all of that. We just don't even. I do. I have to. It's happening now.
Yeah.
It's affecting me, it's affecting my children, and it's going to affect my grandkids. But with that said, I'm going to listen here for a
Okay.
minute.
Good deal. And we will talk about those things, brother. We definitely will. But like I said, let me do this. Rico. Changing topic. With everything that us as men have to go through, and it's a constant struggle every day for us as men. Do you think after we fight all day long, make it home, and go into our homes, walk in the door, do you think women understand how important they are to us in making sure that we have a place of
Got
peace,
it.
that we have a place of peace, or do they sometimes add to that by being so disruptive when we go in the house and they fussing and arguing and all kind of things? You didn't do this and you didn't do, do women understand how important they are to us and to our peace?
Oh man, that's that oh man, to be honest with you, that type of question right there, man, that would be mighty judgmental on my part to try to pry into every man's in general situation when he goes home. The response that he gets, because in some cases you know that they do, and in some cases you don't, and that's been going on since before I was born. That you had the man or the woman, either one did or did not understand the experience of what the other one has to go through. All I can say is, sometimes yeah and sometimes no. I mean, yeah, sometimes women do understand and sometimes they don't. I mean, but
How important is it? How important is it, Rico, that after we had that terrible day, that we go home, man, and know that once we walk in that door, everything's gonna be all right. It's not gonna change the day that we have, but we're gonna have that place of peace where we can actually just relax, unwind, and breathe.
I mean, that's what your domain is for. That's the whole purpose of, when you get out on your own, becoming a man or becoming a woman or becoming a married couple, you still having your peace in your domain. You got your inner village and your inner community right there inside of your household. You can actually live in a situation where every household that's around you is full of chaos. And drama, debauchery. But in your home, you have all type of peace and knowledge and wisdom and tranquility and spirituality. And that's what you make in your household. Some people come in and they burn sage when they walk into their home. Some people require you to take your shoes off when you come into their home for certain reasons, but it's a peaceful thing for them and it's a cleanliness thing for them. So I mean, yeah, that's supposed to be expected. When you actually invest into building a place for you to lay your head, you should be able to come home to that peace. And the person that you make that agreement with, or that you have this contract or this bond with to live in matrimony forever, that should be the same expectation. That should be part of the reason why you chose this person and she chose you. Automatically, is to be each other's peace.
Exactly. Zamar, what do you say to that? Do you think, and I'm asking you from a woman's standpoint, do you think most women understand how important it is to walk into, for a man that after having a terrible day, to walk into a peaceful house with a smile on her face, and that hug is gonna be all right? Do you all as women understand how important that is?
I can't speak for all women. I mean, I can speak for me, but I can't speak for all women, because every dynamic is different. Every person is different when it comes to that. So it'd be really hard, and it would be unfair for me to speak that way as if I knew every female's mind when it concerned that. For me, I do try to create that environment for my husband. I mean, even if I know he's having a tough day at work, and look, you men work hard, okay? You bust your butts and you do work hard and you put up with a lot of crap at work.
Yeah.
So if I know he's having a particular hard day or a very busy day, and even not even knowing that sometimes, right? I am just so grateful for the hard work that my husband puts in. So even periodically through the day or certain times like that, I will just send him messages. It'll just kind of be laid on my heart just to tell him how thankful I am and how grateful I am for everything that he does for us, and that I see him. I see you and I love you for everything that you're doing for our family, because men need to be uplifted like that. And when my husband was working as an officer in the jailhouse, because he worked in the county jail, and so I would always make his dinner, basically, right?
Mhm.
And I would always put little notes in there for him and just saying, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for what you're doing. I see you, just that kind of
Yes.
encouraging things for him. And he would get teased at work for, oh, how cute. Your wife put a little note in your lunch, and
Mhm.
it's like, well, they really tease you about that. But then you got to think too, right? Like a lot of people don't have that dynamic or that environment where the wife is doing that stuff.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I do that because I don't ever want him to think, even if I'm having a bad day or the house is messy, because like right now my house is terrible. I need to clean today. But even when I'm not necessarily doing what I need to do in my position, I want him to know that I still appreciate him. And I'm not doing these things because I don't appreciate him. I absolutely do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when he comes home, I don't want him to come home to chaos.
Mhm.
I don't want the kids being running all over the place and me having, him walking into me yelling at them. And because he's trying to come home and unwind from work and get
Yes.
away from that environment, not walk into another environment where that same
Mhm.
chaos is going on. Now,
Mhm.
it's not going to happen perfectly every day, all of the time, because life happens and there are just those days where your kids aren't listening or you're already stressed out because X, Y, and Z. But for the most part, for me, yes, I do try to create that for him. Baby, I love you. How was your day?
Mhm.
Rub his
Mhm. That's
back,
good.
give him and the first thing we always do, and sometimes we miss it, right? But the first thing we always do is we give each other a kiss.
Mhm.
And then if I don't do it or he doesn't do it, and it might slip our mind from it, and then we kind of look at each other, and he'll get mad at me or I'll get mad at him, and like in this joking kind of way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like, you forgot to do something.
Mhm. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
did I forget to do? You didn't kiss me when you came home.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
So he's like, well, come here, he'll give me a
Yeah.
kiss and vice
Mhm.
versa. But, we always make it a point to make sure we give that recognition to each other,
Mhm.
right? Because it's
That's good.
so important. And if you're not uplifting your man and creating that environment where he wants to come home and he feels that peace, it's
It
not, it doesn't turn out good in the end.
He'll sit in the driveway for an hour and a half, 2 hours before he walk in the house because he don't want
Exactly.
to go into that. Man, I just sit here, man. I could just relax right here. I ain't got to worry about nothing.
Exactly.
Mr.
Exactly.
Mr. Hicks, what's on your heart, brother? Mr. Hicks, you there? Okay. Might have lost Mr. Hicks. Toya, with a T, talk to me, sis. Toya?
Hey, yeah. You said what is the question now? What are we talking about? You said a man you want to come home.
No. No, if how important is it? A man, they have to go through so much and deal with so much every day at work and in life. How important is it that he come home to a peaceful environment? Do
Well,
women always understand how important they are in the role of a man's peace when he come home, smiling face, like you said, give him a hug and a kiss. I know your day was rough, but it's gonna be all right. You home
yeah,
now. Do
depends
women
on
always understand that?
it depends on what kind of woman you got. It's a two-sided thing here. If you a man, you gonna have the kind of woman you want. You ain't got no unruly woman and you don't want her. If she unruly, you with her and you cool with it. So however you go home, clearly, if you like it, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Do we recognize that? Again, I don't know because if you've allowed us like children, if you've allowed us to act a certain kind of way, how can't we notice that? Some people just have a way that they are. You know what I'm saying? And I think that some of us have this vision on what a relationship want to be, and we get with other people that feel like what that relationship want to be like, and that's it for them. But some people that come out of chaos, they don't know how to be in a peaceful relationship.
Wow.
So some guys
Mhm.
who didn't have great home training, who probably was raised in a single parent neighborhood, it ain't got nothing to do with that, because I know people that came from single, and they just ignorant as all outdoors as men. and they don't do all of the right things. They make a lot of foolish, dumb mistakes. They don't hold their own. It's always something. Just sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And you might not get no peace when you go home because you're not a peacemaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And these, here we go. When you start, but that depends on the man. Because you can go home to that and that cannot be for you. So as women, I think we know the men that we're dealing with at the time and what they want. You understand what I'm saying? And I think when people lay the line down and say, you know, this is what the expectation and this is what's not, then the woman not gonna act like that. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I don't get me wrong, I'm a tough cookie, but I know how to act like a normal person. Just you know what I'm saying? I don't just raise hell all the time. You feel what I'm saying? I know how to act like a normal human being and not be crunk just all day long and just, you know what I'm saying? I know how to act accordingly when it's time to act accordingly, even though I have a very bold, bursting personality. My man know that, but when it's time for me to snap in the girlfriend mode, trust me, I do know how to act like a girlfriend and come home and say, hey, sweetheart, here's a hug, here's a kiss. Even with my nieces and nephews, you know what I'm saying? I know how to snap into for real auntie mode, not just that live Toya. Oh my gosh, auntie. You know what I'm saying? That wait, hold on, calm down. I'm really hurting over here. And I need you to just stop right now because I'm hurt. You know what I'm saying? I need a hug, man, for real. You know what I'm saying? You so busy, zip, 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 go, go, go. Wait, I'm hurting over here, and I need you to just really slow down, take a minute, focus on me, and give me a hug because I done had a bad day, and I know how to bring that on down. It's like, oh my gosh, baby, I'm sorry, my bad. Because yeah, I am a firecracker, but I definitely know how to dim that light when the time is right. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it's according to the man, honey. You know, if you're dealing with somebody unruly, you might as well go on and get up on the roof.
Yeah. Lord Jesus. Mr. Hicks, I came to you earlier, brother. I think you had stepped away. What's on your heart?
Oh man. Tough subject. Listen, I got married at 21 coming out of Vietnam, went to prison. My wife then had a baby, made it difficult. We couldn't reconcile. I met someone else. I got married. I stayed married for 30 years. That ended in a divorce. She wanted it, you know, she wanted to find herself. And then I married again at the beginning of COVID. I married somebody that was paranoid and duped by the system. I left that. And it made me think about a thing that Paul said, right? And I understand that now that the fire in my loins have died down. And I use it, and I use my head now. You know what? It is better to be single for me, for different people in the society. Since I've been on my own again, man, I'm in peace with all the other struggles I have. I don't have that struggle of trying to point out to people, to the women in my life, that what they're feeling, what they're going through now is a part of a programming that they adapted. And I try to deprogram them, right? We're putting literature in front of it, putting videos and putting stuff out there where these intelligent people are saying the same things that maybe they could accept it, but the program is too deep. The opposition against people getting along. I love hearing Zakari talk about a relationship because that's what makes it work. There's a saying, if you get yourself a wife, you got a good thing. You got a pearl. It ain't easy. It ain't easy with the programming that goes on with our children that we send off to these schools that becomes that village that put all these diverse attitudes of self-centeredness and who I am and who I identify myself. I'm this and all this stuff that's breaking away from the very foundations that made us survive slavery, survive the Jessups and the Catholics and the popes and all these people that want to rule over us was an idea of democracy. The elephant in the room about the corporal punishment. spanking kids.
Mm-hmm.
You hit my kids. And I told them when they did go to school, 2 of them went to regular school, most went to Islamic institutions. And my last one was homeschooled. They are different than the other kids they're around. Hey, I'm happily single and I'll be this way forever. I understand that thing about what they celibacy.
Celibacy.
Yeah, I feel good. I love me. I get that stuff straight from the source. What I was trying to get from people anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't heaven. That drive for sex and procreation. Mm-hmm. It wasn't heaven. It was a part of biology. It was necessary. The element of spirituality and love, true understanding of what love is as it evolve and change and grow. Mm-hmm. It's not incorporated that make that sex act something spiritual, something that's transcending. Mm-hmm. I've never had that. I've had many, multiple, and all that other stuff, but I never had that thing from there. But I got it through being in a position where the Creator spoke to me and changed me.
Yes, come on.
It didn't come from any people.
Mm-hmm.
It don't come from a woman. I can't depend on my mental health or my emotional health to be dependent on anybody other than the Creator, especially not a woman, because they change. Mm-hmm. We all change.
But, you saying the women will flip on you?
You know they will. and being the man, you've got to be patient enough to handle that and understand that and help sort through those many emotions that affect by the moon, by all kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But because they're emotional, but they are strength. You can get a strength because they give you a view and perspective that you don't have.
Yeah.
I'll say for the 30 years of marriage, the one thing I did understand that we are different and it's necessary for us to be together because when we're together, Napoleon Hill talked about the mastermind principle. Mm-hmm. He says, well, anytime any group of people get together and they can keep peace going on and that they can have that commonality going, they tap into a larger mind. Carl Jung called it subconscious mind. It's a powerful mind, giving you ideas, but it's the most powerful in a marriage relationship because you're intermingling your souls through that act that's been by the society around us made it bestial, made it just be an act, just sex, not the spiritual aspects. But that's my word. I'm like Paul now. I'm single. I'm gonna stay single. But as soon as I say that, somebody walk in my life. So y'all pray for me that I stay on this course of being single.
I don't know, brother. I don't know now. I don't know if we're gonna put that prayer in for you. I don't know, brother. But
I'm 74 years old, man. I don't need nobody. And when I try to think about people my age, God. Man, that's a different program, but it's a program. But I look around at the people that's younger than me, and I say, what the hell am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
Oh, Lord Jesus. Oh, right there, Miss Hicks.
I'm gonna come on the podcast every morning, then I'm gonna sink myself in studies, then I'm gonna go run to the park, and I'm gonna say, thank you, Lord, I'm free.
I'm free. Freedom. Oh, let me go. God is
a divorce paper. I gotta pay money.
There you go. Exactly. God is good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Morning Glow family.
God, we asking a question. And good to have you this morning with us. We asking a question about men. Life could be rough, working and all kind of stress that goes on. And do women really understand how important they are to a man's peace? That when he walk in that door, he want to be able to walk in that door and see that smiling face, maybe a hug, and she kiss him and say, how was your day? It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. How do women understand how important they are to their man's peace or peace of mind?
I'm going to say, I'm sure they are. I know that being married, I was very thankful and couldn't wait for my husband to get home. He didn't really want me out and about working a regular job, so I worked from home. I built my company from home, and I ended up making more money than him. But I ended up making sure that he had everything that he needed when he got home.
Mm-hmm.
So although I was quote quote a housewife, but I was also a man. I also managed my company, and I had other workers working for me. So I was a mortgage broker at the time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good.
And so the key thing is, but it goes both ways. And people are not getting that because most households now need two incomes. So it goes both ways. So as a woman, I want to make sure that we both can come home, and not and have a castle and just start loving on each other with different ways and harmonious, if not just sitting up reading a book and learning new things about relationships, about how to build each other. There's a lot of things that most relationships don't have, and it goes both ways, because I don't want to come home to somebody either that I don't feel comfortable with, you know. But you have to look at who you marry too. He was a very jealous guy, and at the time my field was a men's field. So although I work from home, you might come home and see a white man that is one of our representatives of our banks, because like I have like 300 different banks, but I only work with several different ones. So I might have a representative in the household. He didn't like that. He wanted me to work from home, and so now I have to deal with hell. But it wasn't, you were in my office. I had an office area, office space, office entrance, all of that. So it wasn't like anything other, but this is business. And our business would, you know, he would accompany us out of town. So it goes both ways. But he didn't come from a household, his household where he came from, his dad told his mother what to do. She worked a menial job, but when she worked, she got off work, she cooked dinner, she did everything for the kids. When he got off work, all he did was take his shoes off.
Wow.
So they didn't work together in their household. So in our household, my parents worked together.
Good deal.
My
Hold on.
had a job. My dad had a job.
Okay.
My mother would come home. Sometimes my dad would have dinner cooked.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So they work together. That's important.
Good deal. Stay right there, sis. We got to keep this thing moving. Let's go to Tucson. Tucson, what do you say to that, man? How important is it the women understand how important they are in regards to helping a man have his peace, especially when he come home?
She's not there when he get home. Don't worry about that.
Lord Jesus.
Don't worry about that.
Lord.
Came home. Then when she get home, she want her feet rubbed. We live in a society now that we need to get over that concept, Raheem, unfortunately, because we chasing that bag. We're trying to get it. We're trying to make it. You know, I was just like you mentality. So the breadwinner is we both trying to win that bread. So you wash my back, I wash yours. Almost kind of like concept. It's changed over the years to the point where the way we look at now, Samaria, I'll jack your name up about 6 more months. Don't take it personal. That's good. That the way you all operate, because that's healthy. To make sure that you don't overlook each other, because course, you got to live. That's good. But some point during the day, at the morning, before you go to bed, it's you, the whole outside world, everything. I don't care if it's church and you got a ministry, or you got a business, or you got a job, you got a relationship. And what we do now is work on everything but the relationship. And when we start figuring out that we're not working on the relationship, it's too late. The relationship has dissolved.
Yeah.
But you got that bag. You still got that job. You still got that ministry. I see pastors wear themselves out behind a church, and they got an unhappy wife or husband. These days, I leave that alone.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'm not going to leave it alone. I'm going to go ahead and knock it out. It's already there.
One more mute button. One more mute button. One more mute button.
You gonna mute me up here?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, bro.
Because we have this sense of I'm a preacher, or I'm an evangelist, or I'm a prophetess, but you ain't got no husband. Or your husband, you don't know where he at. Because you're focused, and I'm not saying don't get this wrong. I'm just talking about what we're talking about. We're so interested. I ain't got no business focusing me. I'm talking about me. Talking about I'm Pastor Tucson, and the home is jacked up.
Yeah.
Okay, Reverend. You're gonna be divorced again soon.
How you gonna run the church? You couldn't even run your own house.
That's what I'm talking about. Really? I mean, I gotta go pray for some old nigga. Well, you ain't praying that much.
Okay, Tucson. Put signal.
I'm going to go.
Okay, there you go. Signal. I see. Put the signal on you. Let me go to Navy. Navy, what's on your heart, sis? And then we're gonna go to Willa. Willa, you up next. Navy, what's on your heart, sis?
Hey, no, I was just listening in, but I mean, to kind of like answer the question though, and I think everybody has hit on it. The only thing that I'm just going to add to it, other than it being the individual, is that that's something that you have to practice yourself, because you can't be peace with someone else if you don't know peace within yourself. So you can't assign that to someone else. Because if you know that for yourself, and you know how to bring that in, you know how to usher that energy into the home, and then that would be reciprocated. So he shouldn't have to guess or wonder if that's something that you know or that you practice, because it was already there before he was there. So he knows that you are peace. So that's it. That's all I had to add.
Okay. There's a lot of different alleys you left me to go with what you just said, but right now I want to go to Willow.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, Glow. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Willow. How you doing this morning?
Man, I am doing so good this morning. I tell you, I thank God that He allowed me to get up and pulled me through the storm. Come on, Ryan.
Yeah, come on now.
Let's go this morning.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you that question. Do you think most women, a lot of women, understand how important they are for their man's peace? He has a terrible day. He come home. He want to come home to a house of peace. He want to come home to a smiling face, a hug and a kiss. I know your day was rough, but you home now. It's gonna be okay. Do most women understand how important that is to a man?
Okay, I like the fact that you said women, because when you are younger, you don't think about those things when you get married, and you get married young, because it just becomes a marriage, a little celebration, and you don't understand. You really don't. And then when you're younger, you don't get as seasoned with the information that you get when you become a woman. That's the difference, Raheem. Because, a man wants his house to be a home. And sometimes when you I keep saying when we were younger, because this is my second marriage and it's like the best.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my first marriage, I was horrible. I
Wow.
did not understand the things that I needed to do. My mama didn't tell me. My daddy didn't share with me. So, you know, I didn't treat him like the kingship that he should have been treated, the way he should have been treated. But there was a lot of other factors that included, that also caused me to do certain things that I shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
But I said that to say, yes, a man, that's what, first of all, if a man asks you to marry him, those are his expectations.
Mm-hmm.
He's expected those things, to have a good wife, to have somebody that he can love and he can talk to. You know, I'm talking about, because men don't normally ask women nowadays to marry them because they're so used to all the other negative stuff that they hear about marriages and how these marriages are folded in a year and 6 months. They're afraid, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, you're absolutely right, Ronnie. Men want to be treated with the kingship, the fatherhood that they deserve when they
Mhm.
ask you to marry them.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
For sure, Raheem.
Absolutely. Go. You gotta finish it. Now you got a certain way you finish it. And what now? Willa? You ain't said. I ain't know you. I don't know you finish until you say that, and that's what's on my heart. And then
And that's what's on my heart, Raheem.
oh, okay. I didn't know you would finish. If you don't say that, then I'm still listening for you to talk. If you don't say it, that's what's on my heart right here. Now. Hey Rico, I still thought she was still going, brother, because she didn't say it. I didn't hear it.
I figured she must have been distracted or something because she didn't even catch on when you said it at first. I was like, well, she ain't gonna say it.
Exactly.
Yeah, she probably got something going on, had something that she had to tell to or something.
Because she gonna end with it, and that's what's on my heart right here. Okay, well, there we go. Leonard, talk to me, brother. What do you say about that, man? Do most women understand the importance and how important it is to have their men have peace in the home when he come home after having a terrible day? He walk in that house, he want a certain semblance of peace.
Can you hear me, Raheem?
Yes.
Well, of course, you know, I don't go along with a lot of that that one-way type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way you presented it was very one way.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need to be there for your wife as well.
We're gonna deal with that part.
That way.
I want to deal with one side, then we're gonna deal with the other side. We're gonna deal with both sides of it. But I'm concentrating on the man right now. But I know what you're saying though.
Every woman know what kind of man she got
Mm-hmm.
and what he needs. If not, she need to find out, or she's not gonna be there that long.
Good Lord.
So those men who desire homemakers,
Mm-hmm.
when they looking for, and that's why I didn't, you know, you just said woman,
Yeah.
as opposed to wife.
Mm-hmm.
Wife
Mhm.
has responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Any old woman do what she wants to do.
Wow. Mm.
So when you make her your wife, that's what comes with responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And those men who you should look for women who they can have all the degrees in the world or what have you. Are they homemakers? If that's what you're looking for, then that's what you should marry.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure that she you know, give her some expectations, what you should expect, what you expect from her. And don't just leave it so open that you just walk in any other day thinking that you can just dump on somebody because they stay with you.
Mm-hmm.
See, I've never been down with that, and I've never treated a woman that way.
Do you think that's what some men do?
I'm not that type of person in general.
Do you think that's what some men do? Come home and think they can just dump everything on their women because they're there?
Say that again.
Do you think that's what some men do? I'm not gonna say all, but do you think that's what some men do? Come home and think that they can just dump all their problems on their wife just because their wife or woman is there?
Oh, most definitely. That's been already recorded and researched, and it deals a lot with domestic violence and all types of things. And also, what is newer is the notion of being a black man. I've noticed that now, and I've seen that in discussions where now black men have a different issue with black women because of this.
Mm. Wow.
So you know, you quote what you always refer to as this black struggle,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow black women should be more equipped to deal with black men because of it.
Mm. Do you agree with that?
Preach, Leonard.
Do you agree with that?
Excuse me?
Do you agree with that? That a black woman should be more equipped to deal with a black man's struggle because she's experienced some of those same issues?
No, I don't go along with that whole line of thinking. I think you need to work together because everyone at the end of the day is a person, a human being.
But everybody
There's
have
no
their,
difference.
but don't everybody have their
in
own
the
experiences?
struggle.
But don't everybody have their own
Say that
individual
again?
experiences?
Yes.
Okay.
And everybody deals with them certain ways. I don't come and holler at my wife because I wasn't man enough to holler at that boss at the job. I don't come jump on my wife because I have a feeling of being less than. See, those are emotional issues that people have to deal with personally. Your wife is not responsible for your happiness.
But from your earlier, and we got to move on to somebody else. But from what you said earlier, aren't you responsible? Both of you are responsible for each other's happiness. And so, if that be the case,
you're
then
responsible
yes,
for
yes, she
taking
is.
care of one another.
Yeah, but if that be the case, then yes, she is. But it goes both ways. But she is too, though. But so she is responsible for it. But he's responsible for hers as well.
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. Rico, what, I don't know if I need to go to Rico right now or not. He got a look on his face. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Will the tea come to you next? Rico?
Oh man, you had froze up for a second. I guess that was on my end. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, when you said that should she be equipped, I guess it means equipped in. I guess that depends on what she needs to be equipped to take. You know, she should be equipped to take abuse. If he's coming home and taking his frustrations out on his wife because he's too much of a coward to, take it out on the co-workers or the people on the job. But just like any black mother should be equipped to understand what she should have to worry about with a black son, i.e. Tyree Nichols, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, Eric Garner. A black wife should also be equipped to deal with those things that a black husband has to go through just trying to be a man in this country, in this world, dealing with the things we have to deal with. So that's why I say it depends on what you're saying she needs to be equipped for. Should she be equipped to take lumps upside the head just because this man feel like he got the right to whoop on his wife? No. No, he's supposed to take no mental or verbal or physical abuse just because he's frustrated. But should she be prepared to compliment him and also comfort him when he comes home and say, baby, they overlooked me again on this job and I know I deserved it, but they being racist, they discriminate, I don't know what to do. I can't take it no more. If they keep on, I'm going to follow one of them home. Baby, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Just be strong. She got to be equipped with that.
Yeah.
She just can't sit back and look at him like, oh, you just up here, you gonna using the black card again. You're using the race card. You just a sorry, no good nigga. She might like to repeat the things that are said about black men. We have stereotypes that made people throughout the past justify not giving us fair opportunities on jobs or creating laws. I mean, there's a certain thing called a black experience that has been going on since before we were born, and it still exists to this day.
Toya? Fact. Toya? Toya, with a T, you there? Good deal. Let me go to we just had Joseph. Joseph just came in. Joseph, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, sir, and good morning, Morning Glow family.
We talking about a young lady. Does she understand how important it is that when a man come home from work and a hard day's work and the world's been coming on his shoulders all day long? Everything's been up against him all day long.
Does she know how important it is that when he walk in that door, he walk into a smile, maybe a hug and a kiss, and everything's gonna be okay because you're home now? Does most women understand how important it is to make that house a place of peace for her man?
I don't think most women understand that part. I think we kind of grow into as we merge, as two people merge together. I think they have to bring all these things into account and put them on the table so we can all see the same thing together. But you know, if you're fully aware of the system and how it impacts us, I think it's the duty of the one that understands this to share that information so we can all be on the same page in the household. What I've always tried to do was shield my family from a lot of the harshness, if you will, of the system. And even though I work with so many different men and women who are engaged in the civil rights struggle, so many, not only across the metro Atlanta area, but across the whole country. I try not to let that come into my home, so to speak. But at the same time, I try to make sure the family are aware of current issues that could affect all of us, such as the killing of Tyree Nichols. I have a conversation with my grandson. You know, he's driving a car and he, got to go through downtown traffic and everything. And I tell him, look, the last thing I want to do is turn on the news and, see you being mishandled by the police officers. So let's go over the ground rules. And not only that, but I want you to understand the big picture, why we're trying to pass the George Floyd bill, why that bill is so important, and why, your vote is so important, because I'm a big stickler for going out and vote, because we can change some things locally, and then there's some things we can change nationally. But I don't want that to be a big stress on, the duties of my better half, because she got to keep the house. She got to, deal with some of the mundane things with the grandkids or my daughter or something like that. So I don't try to,
Joseph,
put that weight. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, brother. Do we sometime as men, and I got to ask this question as well, do we sometime as men expect too much out of our women? Because a lot of time in this day and time, they have to work too. And they, we both go to work and we both work, and maybe she had a rough day. Maybe we both had a rough day. Now, but we still expect her to come home and make sure the house is clean. We expect, we want to eat. We want to eat. And so we expect for her, after working hard, after having a terrible day, should we maybe maybe y'all talking on the phone on the way home, and she voicing to you that she had a bad day. Should we sometime take that initiative and say, look here, I'm just gonna stop by this our favorite restaurant, get us to go meal for both of us. We come home, we'll take our showers, and we'll sit at the table and just relax over a meal. You don't have to worry about cooking today. And if we come home and there's something out of place in the house, instead of waiting for her to do it, why we can't do it?
Yeah, I agree. I think sometimes we do expect too much as men, because we've been conditioned to expect certain things. From the female. But I do agree with you. We should not only that, but go out to eat or go to different places to unwind. Because in my household they like to go on cruises. I'm not a cruise guy. I don't go on cruises.
Okay,
that ain't my thing. But I send people on cruises, in the family. But to get away and unwind and enjoy life, we all should enjoy life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
so
good.
I try my best to enjoy life the best way I can. My enjoyment is through music. That's what I do.
You say,
but other people have their thing, and I try to help them enjoy their life and the things they like.
And I'm gonna tell you something, brother. You sing almost as good as me. Zamari, what's on your
No, I
heart?
can't beat you now.
I know it, man. But keep trying, brother. Keep trying. You keep trying. That's a goal for you to reach for, man. Keep doing your thing. Maybe one day you might get close. Maybe one day you might get close. Zamari, what's on your
One day.
one day? Yes, sir. Zamari, what's on your heart, sis?
Just back to your question that you asked him. That was really good. Like, so my husband and I, we've had that conversation about if I were to start working. And I had presented that. Well, what about the house? This, that, all of those things that go along with it. When you have someone like myself who is staying at home and taking care of those things regularly, taking care of the kids, looking after all of that, the dynamic changes then, right? If I were to start working. So we did have that conversation. I said, well, what about this? Or if this happens, or what if our schedules are completely opposite, right? Because for the sake of the kids, they would have to be. Like he would have to work day shifts, I would have to work night shifts, or somewhere in the middle like that. So especially during the summer, so that someone is home with the kids at all times. And he even still, honestly, if I just have those days where I'm just exhausted, I'm tired, or I'm sick, or something's going on, and I'm sleeping, I'll wake up if my kitchen was dirty and it's like the little magic genie came in and cleaned the kitchen, right? He does that naturally.
Yeah.
And when we had the discussion, like if I were to pick up a job, what about dinner? Because I'm just gonna be honest, my husband doesn't really know how to cook.
Uh-oh.
So he just doesn't. He knows how to turn on the stove, right? He knows how to heat things up. But as far as cooking an actual meal, he doesn't know how to do that. My husband knows how to grill. He knows how to do meats and different things, but creating a whole meal, he does not know how to do that. So that is something that we would have to figure out how to make that work, because otherwise my husband's gonna be ordering pizza every night. It's just
wow.
Yeah, it's just the way it is, right? So, but when we had that discussion, it did come back around to, well, I'll have to start doing more. That's what he told me. He goes, I'll just have to start doing more around the house. If I've got to do that, then that's what I've got to do if you're going to pick up a job, and that's okay. Like there was no ifs, ands, or buts or discussion about it.
Yeah, that's good.
It was, I'm just going to have to do more. And that is what a healthy marriage is supposed to look like. Is you're picking up the slack for the other person. Then it's like this perfect balancing act, right?
Yeah.
When one, and it's not, and I hate the term 50-50. I do not like that term, because sometimes it's 70-30. Sometimes it's 80-20. It just depends on what needs to be done at that time and who's able to do it.
Yeah.
And so the balance is there, but maybe not always perfectly balanced.
Exactly. Old man said to me one time, because it was a song 50-50 Love, Teddy P. Y'all know Teddy Pendergrass. And the man said, man, it wasn't in your relationship, man. Is it 50-50? I said, yeah, man. I'm yeah, man, 50-50. He said, then y'all messing up. I said, what you mean? He said, y'all messing 50-50, y'all messing up. I said, how in the world are we messing up? He said, you giving 50% and she giving 50%, right? I said, yeah, that's what it is. He said, so you holding back 50% and she's holding back 50%. And it was like, bow. Yeah, exactly. A 50-50 love. So that means we both holding back 50%. Why can't it be 100-100? I'm giving 100%, you giving 100%, and then we're giving all that we have to the relationship, to each other, to the family, to the children, to the community. Why is it 50-50? Where's the other 50? Where's the other 50 going? God is, what's on your heart, sis? God, is you there? Mr. Hicks, talk to me.
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry, I couldn't find the mute button.
Okay, go ahead, sis. What's on your heart?
We both all give 100. It's just sometimes that I think everybody should give 100 in a relationship, or especially in a marriage. But does that happen? That's the reality. Are people giving that 50-50? you know, or that 100%. Basically, we all deserve 100%. But is that actually really true? 9 times 10, it ain't. But I think that's because we have so many distractions that we don't know how to build family again. I believe I heard one guy say that, you know, and I also wanted to shout to him, don't give up on a Black woman, because it's a lot of us out here. And
okay.
I just wanted to tell you, if you got a wife out here somewhere, but when it comes to 100%, we want each other to give it. We should give 100%. Now, the reality is, does it happen? Maybe not. But the system is has broken up the Black family up so much that we have to continue to build. Not only do we need to continue to build Black family, we need to continue to build things that would help our Black family. So financial wealth that we're able to pass down. That is something key. So our kids won't have to struggle. So our kids won't have to work 2 and 3 jobs and don't know how, or the wife has to work. That's what we need to do. We need to start building Black wealth, Black family, and make that a key. And the things that we continue, the music that we need to listen to, because music is the key too.
Okay, good deal.
We're not listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire. We're not listening to that love. That is key. If I'm listening to Janae Ackles and she telling me about my boyfriend and how he killing this and how I end up having to kill him, all crazy stuff. Now, I like some of her music, but I have to have a spiritual discernment.
Exactly.
On what I listen to and what comes into my mind and my mindset.
Okay, hold right there. We done switch gears a little bit. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? I'm sorry, Mr. Hicks. Then Rico, Ms. Hicks, what's on your heart?
Oh wow, I was thinking about that word of community, and I was listening to Z talk, and it just hit to the thing. In my marriage, in 30 years, the marriage was a good marriage. It was a good marriage for the period of time that we communicated. And when I think of the word community, that word communicate is in there. I think what happens in a relationship when you are, I won't say in a relationship, and I just speak in my relationship, when a person gets entangled inside of themselves where they refuse to express what's happening with them in their world. I can't read minds. I think a lot of times I find that it was just like a kind of thing saying, when you do have conversations, saying, I thought you knew. I thought you could see it, because I was no. I think communication is the key thing. Yeah. And when you don't learn how to fight fair, and fighting is a part of it. Fighting is part of the family. We fight on here, but you got to have rules to it. You got to have rules to how you fight. But you can't, when you just bury these things issues that you should discuss, and you don't do it, they pile up. It overwhelms. And then when you try to go communicate, you can't find the bottom of the barrel. It's just so much stuff. I mean, I often find myself, because I worked on the road. My wife never worked. None of my wives. I took in more. You stay home, take care of these babies. I'll do what I give you 100%. I'll go out here and do this thing, eat this crawl. I'll do that stuff. But you stay here with these babies. I don't want the school that village to grab them.
Yeah, exactly.
Send them to prison. Send them to the abortion clinic.
Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus. See right there, Miss Hicks. Hey, you right, Miss Hicks. But let me put you in that. Man, Miss Hicks, you gonna find your way.
Put that corner out. I didn't deserve no corner with that. Did I, Rico?
No, you good.
I'm on the corner for that. No,
we ain't gonna put you over there, brother. We ain't gonna do it. Rico, what's on your heart?
Here's where I was going, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, when he was saying earlier about how he's gonna be single, you know, I'm probably gonna be single. You know what I'm saying? For the rest of my life, man. I mean, I can say if I communicate with 10 different women, there's one that seems like she gets it. Out of all the talk that I hear, and believe me, I hear a lot of talk. And what I'm noticing is that thing about communication. Man, after a little bit of communication, I might end up having to need the community to along and just go outside. I might have to go outside to some Latino women.
Yeah.
Because from what I'm starting to understand, what it's looking like to me and my past experiences, man, it ain't, you know, the talk sounds good. The talk is very cheap. The communication and understanding is not there. I don't think really and truly people understand when it comes to that relationship of being there for that person when they come home or going through what they're going through in the street. The man understanding what the woman is going through when she's going through menopause. You know, certain things she can't go through, her time of the month, her mental things that she goes through. A man has understanding. He can't say, well, I still want some.
Heat flashes and all that stuff. Yeah.
All that. I'm horny when sometimes when she got a headache, she really got a headache.
Yeah.
And you got to look at her position and say, you know what, man, I put what I want to the side. Matter of fact, I might need to rub her feet. You know how it is when women are pregnant and you have to rub the feet and you have to wait on them hand and foot. You see, but I think what it is, even on not just from the women's perspective, but even from men's perspective, both people have to be willing to do something that they might be too proud to do, and that is completely serve another person. Completely be willing to serve that other person when they're going through something. You can sit there and make it about them and not make it about yourself. When you need to call them, when you call them, or when they come up to you and they talking to you, or when you need to talk to them, they're listening the whole time. But man, do you know how many women I deal with that call and vent and pour and toot their own horn and they rant and this and that, and they act like you ain't got nothing going on, and then the minute you try to tell them something, you getting into a whole bunch of drama and mess. Like, wait a minute. I listen to all the stuff you got to say, but now I see that you really ain't got time to hear what I'm going through. What are we talking about? What are we dealing with? So, you know, you'll cut a relationship off real quick when you see that sometimes people don't know how to communicate. They don't even know how to even take themselves out of the equation or even be interested unless it's pertaining to them. Get what I'm saying? So being a servant, man, I mean, it ain't nothing negative, even in just having a friendship. You know what I'm saying? You got to be willing to serve the other person on the other side of that relationship. And I don't, sometimes people are being a little too technical on that 100 and 100 or 50-50 thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it sounds cute. It sounds intellectual and wise. Wow, look at this. How about 100? Well, we know what we mean. You know what everybody means by that. But the thing is like Zamari said, sometimes when them heat flashes kick in and it's the time of the month, you can't give 100%. Maybe them cramps are so bad that you just can't cover your end of the deal. Man,
And see,
it's
the
time
thing
for you
about
to
it,
do this for the children.
and the thing about it, Rico, we as men, we've never experienced those things, the cramps and the bloatiness and all that stuff that they talk about. You know, I had conversations with them, but we never experienced that, man. And how many men, and if any one of us would say yes, it'll blow me, you could knock me over with a feather. How many of us men would say, look here, baby, when it's time to have that baby, I'll push the baby out. I'll have the baby. You know, you ain't got to do that. I'll lay on that table and I'll do it. How many men gonna say that?
You know how many times? You know how many times I heard women say that their men were still demanding for sex while they was pregnant?
Yep.
What? So I mean, you know, that really goes to show you that sometimes, man, it is on both sides of the fence. That a lot of men really don't understand either. But you know, it's really hard to be able to just serve that other person and put your needs to the side. You know what I'm saying? But that's really what's key in the relationship all the way around.
Exactly. Toussaint, we're gonna go on this order right here. Before we get out here, we're gonna go Toussaint, Leonard, then we're gonna go to Willow, and we're gonna pull a few more people in. And we got a few more. We got about 15 minutes. So, Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
Willow, keep me out the corner. Please.
I don't know,
Then
Tucson.
you can help too.
You have a way of making your way over there, brother. I don't know. You start off good, but toward the end,
Yeah.
every time toward the end, you always go ahead. Let me see how you gonna do it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He's good. He's good. Let him talk.
I'm sorry. Break out the flashback.
Make me laugh. Wisdom would laugh. I love it.
Donald got something hiding over there in that corner he ain't let nobody know about. He said
He's still over there a lot, don't he? He's still over there a lot. Yes, Lord. Yeah. Go ahead, Tucson. Let me see how this gonna work out. I'm gonna use your saying, Tucson.
No, but balance is the key.
Yes.
I guess I'm learning. I don't know, but balance is the key. You got the work, you got the kids, you got everything. But see, here's the thing about kids. And you focus on the kids, guess what? They grew up and leave the house. Then what you got?
Yeah.
You and her.
Mm-hmm.
You got a job to go to.
Yeah.
Well, sooner or later, you got to come home sometime.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Some people are involved in what they call a ministry or a community. That's good and fine and dandy. But you put so much in your community or in your ministry and all that. What about the house?
Mm-hmm.
You got to balance all them things out, because sooner or later you're coming home to somebody, and they need the most attention, because that's really you.
Yeah.
That's you. That other person is actually you that you're trying to build. But no, we focus on different things. I got to do this. I got to keep my job. I got to make this money. I got to help such and such. I got to do for this person. I got to do for that. I got to feed the kids. I got to do this and do that and the other. And okay, I'm so tired. I think I'll sleep in the other room. Well, you've been doing that for 6 months.
Wow.
You ain't had a headache that long. And cramps. You really got that? You got
In that corner.
He on his way. He on his way. He on his way. I tell you, he started out good, man. He always started out good.
I
Making
love him
good
though.
points.
Don't let him speak. Let him speak.
What? You know, you could put me in the corner of your feet. But here's the deal. There's a lot of people in that corner with me.
Yeah.
Because they miss the balance. They miss the balance. And before you know it, they talking about how good they can be to a person, but you've been single for 10 years. Oh, really?
Wow. The alcoholic.
You mean to tell me you available again?
Hey, Tucson, the alcoholic was bragging on the fact that he ain't drank nothing for 6 months. The alcoholic, he said, I ain't drank nothing for 6 months. And everybody was so proud of him until somebody else came along and said, well, you know, he ain't drank because they turned his county to a dry county.
They don't give liquor in prison.
Exactly. Yeah. You let me go.
Soon as I get out.
Oh, that's good.
Exactly. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Then we're gonna go to Willow, and then we're gonna go to Zamari, and then we got somebody else just called in, and we're gonna get to that person as well. I'm not gonna say who it is, but they late for today, but super early for tomorrow. Yeah, man. Yeah. I ain't gonna say who it is. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, I was just listening, and marriage is definitely going to be a reflection of the two people.
Yeah.
So nobody can really complain too much, because if there's any mess in there, you put it in there, you messed it up. I tell, like with my son, I can't say I'm pushing for them to be married, but I can definitely let them know what is required, what they should do, and things of that nature. And if you don't want to do these things, don't get married. Just like the Bible gives us some advice. I'm gonna probably be in the corner in a minute with Tucson.
Most likely.
Come together regularly. The Bible will advise you to come together regularly.
Yeah.
And for any reason that you can't, it should be known to both on why you're not coming together. So if that is an issue, you should come up with a way to resolve that issue.
Yeah.
Not being hostile towards one another. I'm not one for hostility in relationships, really. So I don't bring hostility. So I think when you choosing a mate or what have you, you should take all of that into consideration. There are certain the new woman and what I've seen on TV, I don't want that in my house.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that may be fine for someone else, but it's not for me.
So basically what you're saying is sometime big butt, baby hair, and a smile just ain't enough.
Well, I don't that's your description about that baby hair or whatever. But it comes to a point where people have to really plan who they gonna mate with. And everybody, I find it personally irritating when a person falls in love every 2 to 3 months.
Wow.
And folks talk about, we're dating. What does that really mean? Y'all say everything but what you're doing, which lets me know that something ain't right.
Yeah.
You don't want to say what you're doing, so you come up, we date. How y'all date?
They doing the
like ChristianBingo.com.
They doing the horizontal mumbo.
Assumed to be Christian.
They doing the horizontal
And
mumbo.
just to speak to what Rico mentioned, it's not that everyone should be married.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's just not. And if you feel a certain way, you shouldn't even feel any pressure to do it. Because that's not what it's really about. And a lot of people, I think marriages don't work because they're so selfish. I automatically defer to my wife.
Yeah.
I don't argue with my wife. I don't fuss. She won't tell you those things because I don't do them.
Yeah, that's good.
Now she's very courteous as a wife. She, like, say for instance, if she gonna go somewhere or whatever, do you mind if I go? Do you mind? Sure, no problem. Because in the beginning of our relationship, I made it very clear the expectation.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is, laying them ground rules. Let me go to Willow. Z, coming to you next.
So true. I tell you, Leonard and Rico, they knocked it out the park, Raheem.
Yes.
Because it's all of that and a lot more underneath that umbrella of marriage. Because marriage is never, if anybody ever tell you that, marriage is 50-50, you get away from them right now because they don't know what marriage is. It is about give and take, about understanding.
Yeah.
And if you, somebody that's been married for a long time, they understand that it takes that time. It takes time sometimes to take yourself out of whatever the situation is to have a harmonious relationship. And those outside factors, if you can keep those things outside, those are great. You know how you got that wife or that husband to say, well, my mama said, because your mama said it. Come on now. All the time your mama wasn't right. Sometimes you got to look at, I'm not your grandma. Come on. But I said that to say.
Now look at that. Now look at that. Now hold on, Willa. You over there in the corner, sis. You over there talking about people, mama. You over there in that corner. There you go.
I thought she was gonna keep me out the corner. You in the corner. Come on,
Willa. Go on over there.
Now you're making Dora hide and stand.
Exactly.
Because I'm gonna say it.
Look at it. You over there in that corner, Willa. You over here talking about people, mama, and all kind of stuff. Yeah, go on. You're behind over there in that corner. Go on over there. And look, go ahead. Say.
I know you ain't talking about my mama.
I know you ain't talking about my mama. Who mama you talking about? Who mama?
Y'all are so funny.
I talk about her mama.
What? Willa?
Y'all are so funny.
Hey, Willa.
See, I know I hit something when I said what your mama said.
Yeah, man, you can't be here talking about people's mama now. Lord, gee. Lord,
But
Lord.
Rico nailed it though, Raheem. I can't even add to it. He nailed it, boy, for sure.
But
And
listen.
that's what's on my heart, Raheem.
Okay, I know you're finished now, cause you done said it. Okay, I know you're finished. Let me go to Zamari. What's on your heart, sis? Talking about people's mom.
I kind of lost what Rico had said a little bit ago, but I mean, I remember what he said, but I don't remember how he worded it exactly. But I mean, like, I'm on board with that, right? You know, like we just have to, marriage is a tricky thing. Overall, it really can't, well, I should say it can be a tricky thing, right? But we lose sight. And one of the things that came to my mind too, because we're talking about, like, you know, juggling the kids and all this stuff. You have, and I don't know who said it, but they said, you know, you have to put yourself first, right? And that was something my husband and I had to learn, is that if we don't put our relationship first, if we don't put ourselves and our relationship above our children aren't going to have a happy home. Because
exactly.
like someone said, once the children are gone, it's just the two of you. And then you're really going to have that time to look at one another and go, what, why are we even together still? What, you know, because we put all of that time and that energy and that effort into raising these children. And now that they're gone, then you end up divorced because you realize you don't really like each other.
I don't even like you. I don't even like you.
You know? But you're so distracted with the kids and you weren't taking the time to connect and create that everlasting bond and that everlasting relationship. And that was something that, like I said, my husband and I, we had to reevaluate that because we had that same thought process. The kids first, everything for the kids. And I think I can't remember if I watched a YouTube video that was addressing, I saw it somewhere and it just kind of I had that epiphany. I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. We need to fix how we've been trained to do this thing. Because that's where your everlasting happy ending, hopefully, comes into play, is when you focus on your relationship and build that up the way that it needs to be built up.
I think Zara.
And okay, yeah, I get what people are saying with, well, if it's only 50, everything good.
Yeah, you good. Yeah, you good.
Okay. But if it's only 50-50 that you're giving, but right, we use that as the example because it's half of me, half of him, and we're coming together and creating a whole. So that's where that's why they say 50-50, because we're creating a whole. You can't have a whole with only half of the equation.
Exactly.
So it's not that if you're only giving 50%, because honestly, yes, we give 100% all the time, but it's creating that whole together.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's why I just wanted to clear that up too. But
good deal. Yeah. Good deal. Toya with a T. Are you back with us, sis? Toya with a T. Okay, she had left out. She came back in. I thought she was back with us. She might have stepped away for a second. But look, we got somebody with us, y'all. They're a little late for the day. They're a little. I'm glad they're here. You know, I'm definitely glad they're here. But they late for the day. But they super early for tomorrow. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, we talking about women. And do women understand? Do women really fully understand how important they are to men? Man have a rough day at work and he come home and the weight of the world has been on his shoulder. He come home, how important it is that he walk into that house and find peace. She there, you know, she give him a hug, give him a kiss, and say everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be, I know you had a rough day, but everything's gonna be okay. Take your shoes off, you know, and I'm gonna take care of you. I got it from here. Do most women understand how important that is?
No, because probably she's getting in the same time he's getting in. I know you probably didn't take it from that angle, but they're probably getting in the same time or she's getting in after him. But it's important for them to take care of each other. I'm with Willa. I don't believe it's 50% of you and 50% of the other.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be you come whole and are working to be whole 100%, and they come whole, waiting, prepared to do 100%. And I know that you would say, well, that's a 200. That's you 100 and him 100. Well, really, that's what you need. Both of you need to be whole and complete all by yourself. And then you come together, and the Bible still says 1 + 1 = 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's biblical.
Mm-hmm.
1
Yeah.
+ 1 = 1. So we just need to remember that. I think that marriage is the most beautiful institution that God ever created. I believe that, yes, the woman needs to be sensitive to the needs of her mate. You got to put him before your children. I hate when women say the most important thing in their life and they're married is their children.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck? What is
Mm-hmm.
wrong with you?
Yeah.
No, it's your husband. You
Mm-hmm.
need to take care of him. Make sure he's okay. And then if he's okay, then the whole house can be okay, because there is a protocol that God has given. Man is the head, then the wife, then the family. So women a lot of times have it really messed up, and I don't mean to be so long, but I'm just telling you, women have it really messed up when they think that their children come before their husband.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lie that has been perpetrated, and it causes a lot of problems in relationships.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's good. Anybody have anything else they want to say before we get out of here?
You know, it was funny that Leonard brought that up, man, about people falling in love in 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think about what Hicks said earlier about jumping into relationships too fast and it still being all about sex. And, that's really what a lot of people's frustrations are. As I talk to a lot of single women that's still looking for men in our age range, some of them are still considering just having no strings attached relationships. And so it still lets me know that that's sort of what their motivation is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, there's even me, I'm still fighting that bug of trying to separate that and not going in the wrong direction of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny that he brought that up because, I think I told y'all about a situation where the night before New Year's, I got very tempted, man. I mean, I was almost assaulted. I mean, this woman almost pretty much forced me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how about this same woman been engaged and got a fiance now?
Wow.
For like over the last week and a half. You get what I'm saying?
Good Lord.
Knowing my situation, no matter what I told this woman about my journey, my experience, and why I'm holding back and why I'm trying to be a better person, she didn't care nothing about that. But that ain't what she was telling me at the time. She was telling me everything that she thought I needed to hear to make her feel like she would be the perfect compliment for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm this type of woman. Y'all men be tripping. We just want this, and they just said all the right things, and then still try to manipulate me that one night to still go outside of what I was trying to do. Wasn't thinking nothing about my situation or what I was trying to be as far as a better person. And now all of a sudden, hey friend, guess what? I'm getting married.
Wow. Just like that.
Just like that, man. And don't get me wrong, I'm not disappointed. It's funny to me, but at the same time, it really just goes to show you how sometimes people, even in our age range, after all these years, this woman 40-something years old, still only want to come in with their own motives and agenda.
Yep.
And they don't really come in thinking about you. And that's really what a lot of marriages are based off of. Somebody came in looking for maybe convenience, an opportunity, but it wasn't to serve you, it was to serve themselves.
Yep, exactly. I I want to take a moment right now before we get out of here. We lost a warrior. This brother has been in the fight, and we a lot of us on here knows him. Man. He's been in the fight for a long time, man, and he fought very hard. Man. What's that fancy word? Diligently. I think my wife will be smile when I say a word like that. She like when I try to use a big word every now and then. But he fought very hard. and he got his wings. We're gonna miss him. A lot of us gonna miss him that knows him. Gonna definitely miss him. Rico actually sent me something here. Is that a video? Is that a song, Rico? What is that?
That might be his song. That's a song that he made, man. He made a lot of songs, man, and it's funny that you brought that up. Well, it ain't funny that you brought it up. I was glad you did. I was gonna mention it earlier about how social media has been so amazing. You know, we talk about the bad things that we see and we're exposed to, but man, that dude John was so influential to me, and I never met him. And it really showed me just how deep this connection is and this community is when you really meet sincere people, man. It's just, you know, for me and him to have never met in person and him to reach out and communicate with me and support me and influence me the way that he did, and I returned it. Man, I felt like I really knew him. You know what I'm saying? And man, you know, even if I don't even deal with the people that I met him through, you know, that really goes to show you how great social media is, man. But this song that I sent you, it was just like, that was the first song I heard this morning. And I was like, that was fitting.
We're gonna play it. We may not be able to play it all, but we definitely gonna play in honor of him. We're gonna play this some of this song, man. And I just gotta say it, man. Mr. John Drummond.
The gift. John the Gift Drummond.
Yeah. You will be missed, brother. You will be missed. Love you and rest in heaven.
And I know Leonard knew him personally. I hope Leonard would say some words, you know what I'm saying? Leonard had to hang up. I was hoping he was gonna stick around, man, because I know he knew him as well. So Leonard, if you're still listening, man, call back in, brother. If you're listening, call back in. Let me play this.
I didn't know John was gone.
Yeah.
I know John too. Y'all worked together, in New Order.
Absolutely. Hold on for a second. Let me get this queued up here. Okay, now what are you doing now? It's circling. So hopefully it's gonna play in a second. Let me bring it right here. Maybe that'll make a difference.
If it's playing, we don't hear it.
Y'all can hear it?
Oh
man. Oh, let me see. Can I put it on the screen? Hold on for a second, because it was playing. Let me do this here then. We'll try it this way. Let me see. I'm trying to pull it up this way. Give me 1 second here. Put it full screen.
I'm not giving it up for nobody. This peace that I have, not giving it up for nothing, nobody. I got different choices, hear different voices. Gotta put on the whole armor of God against evil forces. He says the battle's not mine, it's the Lord's. Doing my all, I stand my ground. My soul, the enemy's coming for. No need to be anxious about such things. Made a prayer request to God, understanding and peace He brought to me. Thank you, Jesus, for saving me. My spirit, my soul, getting ready for eternity. This peace I now have, I'm not giving it up for nobody. This peace that I have, not giving it up for nothing, nobody. This peace.
Could y'all hear it?
Yeah.
Could y'all hear it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. We heard it.
Wow. Sharp brother, man. Sharp brother. Anybody else know him? That's on here? I wish Leonard would have called back in. I know he knows.
He helped with a lot of different cases throughout the United States. So we went, but he was our go-to who we went to when we were working different cases. And he was very instrumental in getting things handled and getting it out there in the media and trying to get things, especially dealing with police brutality.
Exactly. I wish Brother Pete would have called in, because I know Pete knows him very well as well. So he would have been a good person to say some words too. But I will say this, man. That brother would definitely be missed. He fought the fight. And then that's I think that's a great compliment that you can say about anybody, that they fought the fight. Cassandra, did you know him?
I didn't know him personally. No.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do this right here. Before we even go through the closing remarks, Rico, you got the Black History fact for today?
Yep, I got one for you, man. I think y'all heard me mention this man's name before. But I'm gonna bring it up to him again. His name is Oda Benga.
Okay, hold on. Don't say it yet. I'm naturally stand to my feet. Let's have a quick 30-second moment of silence for our brother, man, for our fallen brother. Hold on for a second. All right. Go ahead, Rico.
I know y'all heard me mention this story before, or this guy before, but I'm gonna give you a little bit more detail about it. His name is Oda Benga. He was a teenage boy brought from his homeland in Central Africa and displayed like an animal at the Bronx Zoo in New York City, New York. Benga was born sometime in 1883 in the Ituri Forest in what would soon become the Congo Free State, now the Democratic Republic of the Congo. He was born into the Mbuti Pygmy colony, one of many small bands of extended family groups of between 15 to 20 people. These colonies were nomadic, moving from temporary village or camp to one temporary village or camp to another as dictated by the seasons and hunting opportunities throughout the year. At the 1885 Berlin Conference, y'all remember that, the Berlin Conference, that partitioned Africa, King Leopold II of Belgium was allowed to take possession of the Congo Free State. In order to make his possession profitable, Leopold began to exploit the region's resources, including rubber, and impose forced labor on the inhabitants, including the Mbuti Pygmies, which often were reinforced by beatings, amputations, and murder. When Benga, a teenager, returned from an elephant hunt and found his entire family and village had been slaughtered by the Force Publique, the private army of King Leopold, created to enforce rubber production quotas. Benga, now alone and defenseless, was kidnapped by slave traders and put to work as a laborer in an agricultural village. In 1984, Benga was freed by an American missionary and amateur anthropologist named Samuel Phillips Verner, who was under contract from the Louisiana Purchase Exposition to bring back pygmies to be a part of human exhibition at the fair. Verner found Benga and negotiated his release from the slave traders for a pound of salt and a bolt of cloth. Verner recruited other Africans for the exhibit as well, and the group was brought to St. Louis in June 1904. The Africans were displayed, and Oda Benga became a particularly popular performer who attracted huge crowds. On exhibit at the same time with the Apache chief Geronimo, the two became friends. For his effort, Verner was awarded a gold medal in anthropology at the close of the expedition. So he was later released from that, returned to Central Africa, And at the end of the exposition, feeling no longer belonged close to home, came back to that same anthropologist and then went on display at the Bronx Zoo, where he was actually hired to help the animals. And later they sharpened his teeth and made him an exhibit in the monkey house.
Wow. Wow.
He was later freed, and when he was 23 years old, he was released to the custody of a Reverend Gordon, who placed him in the New York City's Howard Colored Orphan Asylum.
Made him a display
in the monkey house.
Mm-hmm.
With animals, sharpened his teeth to make him look like a cannibal, like this made him look like somebody that ate people. And that's Black history in America.
Wow. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Wow. Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
If you missed today's show and would like to hear or see the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Wow, good deal. Good deal. I don't know if she's still here, man. That the Black History Fact might have ran her way. But let me call the name. Willa!
Raheem, come on, let's go.
Let's
go, Raheem.
Now, are you ready?
So
Raheem, I am so ready to receive God's word. Come on, Raheem, let's go.
You got an echo in the background saying so ready, so ready. You got an echo in the background.
So ready.
Well, I ain't got one more thing to say. I'm not going to prolong this thing because I think it's time. So look, let's go.
Let's go, Raheem. Come on, y'all. Let's go. Go with me to the throne of grace this morning. Father God in heaven, Lord, we want to just say thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to get up this morning to see another day.
Yes, Lord.
Another day that gives us an opportunity to get it right with you, Lord. Father, please forgive us, oh Lord. If there's been anything that we've done, that we said, that we don't, that has been displeasing to you in your eyesight, Father, we're truly asking for your forgiveness. But we're coming to your throne this morning with expectations, Lord, this morning. Expectations, miracles, Lord, that you provided during the Old Testament and New Testament times. Father, we believe that they still exist today. I'm asking you, oh Lord, to help us, Lord. We need you in a mighty way, Lord. I'm asking you to touch the Drummond family, Lord. Father, strengthen them, give them comfort and the peace that they're going to need, Lord. I'm asking you to touch each and every last one that's lost a loved one, Lord. Father, we know that you know that during these times that there's a struggle that goes on within our hearts, Lord. But I'm asking you, oh Lord, to allow the Holy Spirit to cover the pain that we have to endure. Father, I love you and honor and praise you, Lord. I'm praying to you this morning because, Lord, I believe that you would do anything but fail us, Lord. Father, I believe that you will continually love us unconditionally despite the things that we do, even when we don't even love ourselves. Yes. I love you, Lord. I honor and we praise you this morning, Lord. I'm asking you to touch those hearts out there, Lord. Touch those hearts that's asking for a victory in their lives, Lord, and it seems like day after day after day, the struggle gets harder and get harder. But Father, we know that you are the victory in our lives, Lord. Yes. So we trust you, honor you, and glorify you, Lord. Thank you for the peace that surpasses all our understanding. Thank you for the peace, Lord, that you give us when we need it. Yes. You, oh Lord, in those times when we struggle. Thank you, Lord. Honor, glorify you. Touch Raheem in the morning glow, Lord. Thank you for your word that you send through each and every last one. In Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Glory to God.
Yes, Lord. Yes. Zamari, are you there? You okay?
Sorry, I had it unmuted on screen, but I didn't press the unmute button on my actual microphone. So yeah,
How
I'm
you
here.
doing? You
I'm
okay?
good. Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Mr. Hicks, you there? Pop that screen on, Mr. Hicks. Let us see you, brother.
I'm good.
There you go. You all right?
Get some breakfast.
Man, look here, you got breakfast for all of us. Man, you can't sit down and eat in front of us like that. We hungry too.
I will send you some telepathically. I'm increasing my powers of projection and manifestation.
There you go. There
Did
you
you
go.
get it?
I got it, man. I got a sandwich. Got a sandwich. A
No,
sandwich
I
came
really
through.
enjoyed
Yeah.
it. I enjoyed everything. Great day.
Good deal. Rico?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's pretty laid back, man. Peaceful show. You know.
You on that corner.
I think I liked everybody's explanation of the 100% and the 50%. You know, I think it's still pretty much understood that, you know, if you come together to make a whole of a family, it's still gonna take half of that family gonna have to come from you, and the other half gonna have to come from the other person. And so it's so many ways to look at it, but you know, it's still got to be an effort made on both ends for the common goal.
Cassandra. Okay, we lost Cassandra. Let me go to Tucson.
Yes, sir.
Got a quick question for you, then we're gonna get on out of here. Florida just is and that's just one place, but I know Florida is one place that's actually trying to erase or water down Black history. Why do you think that is?
To keep that good old down south wholesome mindset that's full of stupidity.
And see, my thing is this right here. They were saying how they're practicing and they're allowing certain a lot of histories to be taught, and I think that everybody's history is just as important. Everybody's history is important. So my question, and what we're gonna talk.
That'll make them a liar, though. That'll make them a liar. All this time, that'll show that somebody been lying all this time. I heard them talk about the statues and the patriarchs that'll discredit all of that, even to the point that who discovered what, or them rebel anyway.
Yeah. We're gonna talk. That's gonna be one of our conversations tomorrow. Why would anybody want to erase anybody's history? Everybody's history is important, and across the board, I think everybody that has a history is important to them, and it should be important to each and every one of us. It should be important to each and every one of us across the board, and that's what we're gonna talk about tomorrow. Why would one try to erase another person's history? So that's our topic for tomorrow. I normally don't put the topic out there ahead of time like this, but y'all might want to go and do some research, find some things, and pull some stuff up. But we're gonna talk about that tomorrow, Mr. Hicks. I'm looking for you tomorrow, brother. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
All right, good deal. Well, man, y'all done got some more time out, but man, it's 3 hours and 23 minutes. And Captain Boy, look here, boy, y'all got to pay me for this overtime. Y'all got to pay me for this, man. I'm telling you, man, y'all getting overtime out of me, man. Look at him. Hey, Marshall, look at write that check. Oh, Marshall can write me a check for the extra time today. Listen, it's been a great broadcast. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:25. You're about to exit the Morning Glow, but before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple, I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day. And we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, Give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. See you tomorrow. God said the same. Give somebody some love and truth today. Have a great day.